Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And guys, we have a loaded show for you guys today. We are going to be doing a full breakdown of the AFC. We're going to give the rankings. We're going to talk about some odds according to Bovada Sportsbook. We're going to be doing all of that. We also are going to be talking about all the news and notes that happened this week. A lot happened. We're going to do a little bit smaller word from camp than we usually do. No top five this week just because we have too much to get to.
A lot of information.
We got a lot to talk about today. So strap in. If you want to skip to any particular subject, you can always go to the description and click on the timestamp that you're most interested in.
Yeah, and before we get into the news and notes, we still have the T.Y. Hilton hanging up behind us. Please, guys, we got a lot of names going, and even if you've entered once, you can enter again. Please like, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and then you can go to Apple Podcast as well. 5-star review, leave a comment, and that enters you, and you can say, here for the jersey, like the show, John has weird hair. You can say anything you want, and you get the TY. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're trying to give it away. You can insult
us and get a free jersey from us. Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't like it as much anymore.
All right, guys, let's get right into it. And we got to talk about probably the biggest news. Maybe not. I mean, it's just been a crazy week.
It's a big news.
Yeah, Jags cut Leonard Fournette. Cut him, let him go. They don't want him anymore. Didn't trade him because apparently, according to Doug Marrone, their head coach, they couldn't get anything for him. They couldn't get a 6th-round pick from anybody.
He was very vocal about that, too.
Yes, very clear. A couple of things to bring up, and then we'll talk about it. So if he is claimed off waivers, which as of right now, it doesn't look like he's going to be. That's the initial reports that we're seeing as of recording this. That could change. If he is claimed by waivers, the Jags will save $4.16 million. If not, they will owe it to him. There's a little bit of weirdness with his contract because of an incident dating back to 2018 where they tried to void all of his guarantees. So Leonard Fournette, that $4 million is going to be kind of in this weird dead cap area. So right now we're really not sure what's going to happen with that. But overall, they already spent $4 million on him that they're not getting back because he was due to make $8 million this year. And yeah, they cut him. It makes sense in the sense that he doesn't fit the Jay Gruden offense to a T, just based on his style of running. But I mean, you'd think they could make it work. I mean, they have running between the tackles in there, so.
Yeah, you can find a spot for Leonard Fournette. Yeah, he's a talented back.
Yeah, just insane. What were your first thoughts when you saw this?
It was shocking to me just because Leonard Fournette is one of those guys, and I look at it from a fantasy value. A lot of you are probably upset right now. And in fact, I think every single person who's in fantasy should be upset because Fournette's he's going to go somewhere and he's going to mess someone else up if he goes to Philly. Yeah. Buy Miles Sanders stock. If he goes to Kansas City, God forbid, I mean, for Clyde Edwards stockholders.
Stock is gone.
So it is going to be different. And when you look at it from the way the team runs too, I think it points to one thing, and they're tanking for Trevor.
I disagree with that. I do disagree.
You think they're in a better spot now by letting?
I don't think they're in a better spot, but look at Doug Marrone and their GM, whose name is escaping me off the top of my head. They will not be there for Trevor Lawrence if they have the first pick. So the organization, what they're doing right now, they're not there. This isn't like the Dolphins where they were tanking for Tua and the people that were there knew that they were safe to lose this year. This is Doug Marrone's last chance. This is his last year in Jacksonville if he can't turn it around, which is probably going to be his last year in Jacksonville. Let's be honest. I don't think they're tanking because of the people that are in place for the Jaguars right now.
I think they're tanking because even if they try, they are still an ass team.
That's fair.
So that's the thing. Even if they try, I think this team might be able to hit 6 wins.
Yeah.
That's getting some luck down the road too. Yeah. They're just not built for it right now. Defensively has taken a huge hit. Your best cornerback is a rookie in CJ Henderson.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Losing Yannick. I mean, it is just, they're a dumpster fire of a franchise, and they have constantly been one. You have Allen Robinson, Jalen Ramsey, Yannick Ngakoue, and now
so many
Leonard
more.
Fournette.
Calais Campbell. I mean, we can go down the list.
Telvin Smith walked away from football for whatever reason. So, I mean, they have had so much talent in their hands and just walks away. And what do they have for it now? I mean,
nothing.
You get some picks here and there, but what's going to happen? You hit on every other one of those, and then they still want to leave once they develop.
Listen, it's insane. 3 years ago, they drafted Leonard Fournette with the fourth overall pick. They passed on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, the two jerseys we're wearing right now.
Because they were fully invested in Blake Bortles at the time.
They had Blake Bortles at the time, who at that time in 2017, everyone knew Blake Bortles was not the guy. Everyone knew it. Everyone knew it in Jacksonville. Everyone knew Blake Bortles wasn't the guy, and they were trying to make it worse for him because they missed on that pick. Whatever. You look, that's hindsight 2020. You know, that is what it is. There's nothing really anybody can do about that. I totally get what you're saying, and I'm not sitting here saying that the Jaguars are going to be any good. I will say I think this particular move, trading Leonard Fournette, and then we're going to talk about Yannick after this. I think
cutting Leonard Fournette.
Cutting Leonard Fournette and then trading Yannick. We're going to talk about both of them. The cutting Leonard Fournette to me was the personality of Leonard Fournette did not fit in that building, and they've been trying to get rid of him since 2018. Let's be honest. They were trying to. Reports were out that they were looking to trade him. During the NFL draft stuff, the combine is what I'm looking for. They've been looking to trade him for a while. They just have not been able to get anything. Shocking that it happens now, 2 weeks before the season. And you talked about fantasy team. Yeah, my fantasy team took a hit. I had Leonard Fournette in the league. I had to go get Raquel Armstead and try and get lucky there. Let's move past that just for a second and talk about the fantasy aspect. Like you said, first of all, you're right. This is Leonard Fournette. He is going to be an atomic bomb that is going to blow up somebody's running back.
The dude is talented. Whether or not he's a cancer in the locker room, which I've heard, he's big-headed. He has that diva personality going on. He didn't want to play for Jacksonville whenever they were bad. Regardless of all of that, he's going to take food out of someone else's mouth. Yeah,
it's going to happen somewhere. You just hope you don't have the guys on the team that's going to happen. And I'm in enough leagues where it's going to affect me somehow, no matter what. So who are the guys we target? Look, I was high on Raquel Armstead coming out of college. I actually really liked him. So he's the guy to me who is going to get the lead backs. I know a lot of people are saying Chris Thompson, who has come over from Washington. Look, Chris Thompson, for whatever reason, has been injured throughout his season, or throughout his career. I don't think he
has the body to be a lead back.
He does not have the body. Yeah, he's going to be the pass catching back. He's going to get usage, and I'm not saying avoid him. If you want to pick him up, pick him up. I think Raquel Armstead is the guy who has the most upside. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is all just hearsay. We don't know what the Jaguars are thinking here. They don't cut Leonard Fournette if they don't have some kind of plan moving forward. I heard a rumor of
Devontae Freeman coming into town.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the next thing. Does Devontae Freeman go? Listen, he might. Look, the whole thing with Devontae Freeman is people are saying that Devontae Freeman wants to get paid, right? Yeah. That's the whole rumor on why he hasn't got
Leonard because you don't want to pay. Yeah,
you cut Leonard to save $4 million, and because you don't want him in the locker room, that's fine. Well, Devontae Freeman is going to cost more than $4 million. I would assume. I would assume that's what he's looking for. I would assume Devontae Freeman is sitting back and saying somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's going to need me. A team that is playoff bound or looking to make a splash
is what's going to get me paid.
Exactly. So that's what I think is Devontae Freeman's waiting on. I don't know if Jacksonville's in that position to make that kind of move. Again, we think they're in a really good spot to get Trevor Lawrence next year.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you're paying a running back. It just doesn't. Really
I don't want to see him go there either. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence on that note.
Yeah, I don't look. I really like Minshew just as a person. I don't know about as a quarterback. I didn't really study the film. I don't watch a lot of Jacksonville games last year. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. He looked good at times. He definitely was able to make plays and extend plays.
He has the it factor.
He does seem to have the it factor that I like. Obviously. Not the biggest arm or anything like that, but man, I'd be excited to see what Minshew can do when this year he's just throwing it around. Mm-hmm. He's got nothing to lose. He's just going for it. I think he's going to be balls to the wall. This is his opportunity. Everyone's saying, is looking to the future with him. This is his chance. He's a young guy. I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
So we'll bring it back to Lenard. Where do you think he is going to go?
All right, so you're absolutely right. There's a couple different places that I think make the most sense, right? My first instinct is I was looking at look at the waiver wire. It's basically the draft order. Who are the guys that make sense there? And then after first I'll go through that. Dolphins and Chargers are the first teams that make sense to me. Mm-hmm. They were 5th and 6th in waiver order. Dolphins have Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. Would make a lot of sense if they said, you know what, let's add one more guy. Let's bring.
You could benefit from that.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette. That makes a lot of sense to me. And then Chargers, look, they have Eckler. I understand a lot of people think he's a true lead back and all that. I don't think the Chargers are going to be happy with the rest of his contract if they try and make Eckler the full-time back. I understand Justin Jefferson went down with some minor injuries, and that opened the door for Josh Kelly out of UCLA. Thank you. Their rookie running back in the 4th round. It would make sense if they went out of Leonard Fournette to be the power back there. That made a lot of sense to me. The Bears make sense with what's his face being hurt, David Montgomery. Thank you so much. If David Montgomery's hurt, that makes a lot of sense. Where were you thinking? Those are the first three teams that popped in my head.
I don't know. I was running it through my head. The Falcons popped off to me just because of Gurley. We've heard certain things that he's favoring that leg in camp, and if there's that injury thing there, you could get a guy, and then
they don't trust Brian Hill there. They're back up,
and it's Gurley's old home in L.A. is where I think the favorite is now. He's really good friends with Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
I've heard Cam Akers has had a few iffy games in the scrimmage. He's fumbled twice in one of them. Darrell Henderson is banged up at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you bring in Leonard Fournette, who has good ties to some of the teammates, might be overall happier in L.A., of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to hurt me too because I have Cam Akers in.
Yeah, I have Cam Akers in a couple leagues as well. I don't think LA is the spot. I'd be surprised. I really would.
You don't think he fits what they could do with a play action type vertical passing threat?
I mean, Leonard Fournette is more of a bruiser than a speed guy. And I don't think Leonard Fournette has that.
I put Gurley in that bill. I don't put Gurley as a.
Yeah,
I mean, he's more of an all-around guy.
You're right, but Gurley definitely has some more lateral quickness, I feel like, than Fournette does. So I don't know if Fournette fits perfect. And also, I mean, I think the Rams were the coach Sean McVay was saying at the beginning of training camp that they have four guys that they really like. That's coach speak. I get that. If you're adding Leonard Fournette, that means you're probably cutting a John Kelly or a Malcolm Brown. Do they like them enough to keep it going? And also, you have four running backs that they're saying might have some workload. I don't believe that. I do think it's going to be Cam Akers' job to lose, which maybe he's losing it. We don't know. But I would be surprised if Leonard Fournette there. But again, look, there's 31 teams he could go to, and I'm not going to say you're
terrified of Buffalo.
Completely shocked. Buffalo makes sense
because
they
Buffalo
like Zach Moss a lot, though.
See, but they have 2 third-round running backs technically, and you're not really invested in them as much. You don't have the Leonard Fournette 4th overall pick tied to the third rounders that you can kind of move about freely and see what you got. So if they bring him on the scene, there's a chance for it.
I think the Texans would be a weird team that would make a lot of sense to me.
They don't make any sense though because they're paying David Johnson upwards of $10 million.
They're paying Duke Johnson a lot too, actually. So I mean, you're absolutely right. From a money standpoint, it doesn't, but just from like a team that doesn't have a running back I really like, that's kind of where I'm coming from there. And then look, the Seahawks are going to be a team that are going to look at him just because Leonard Fournette fits the running style of the Seahawks to a T.
If you could spell him and Chris Carson, solid.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to me. But again, they have a lot of guys there that they like. They just drafted DJ Dallas in the 4th round, so do they want to add another guy to that room? And then the last one, maybe nobody wants to hear this. I don't know. The Patriots make sense to me.
They do.
Right? Like that's an obvious one. Is there anywhere else we're missing?
Not off the top of my head. I mean,
I don't think
like
so
you
either.
Said, there are a lot of teams out there for a price. Leonard Fournette could be on every single one of those teams.
Yes,
I truly believe that. So.
I absolutely agree. At the end of the day,
Philadelphia. That was one that I forgot to say because of Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders been hurt. He has a very serious hamstring strain, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on.
So Boston Scott or Leonard Fournette, I think we know.
Yeah, definitely. Man, there's a lot of places you go. Do you think he gets claimed off waivers?
No,
I don't either. Especially,
did it come out that he already cleared it?
There's been reports that he's cleared it. Yeah. Nothing's official until tomorrow. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Honestly, it'll probably be official by the end of the day, but we're not sure as of recording this.
So we'll play it safe. No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think
he's going to be claimed. I don't know what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, I completely agree. It could go anywhere. It could be one of those situations where he thinks he's worth more than he is, and he doesn't get a contract for a while. I mean, that could happen.
Awakening type of thing.
Yeah, honestly. All right, so we'll move on to Jaguars again. Yannick Ngakoue. Let's dive into this. Skull. Our Vikings fan over here. Yes. I'm going to let you take it away.
I was ecstatic. You texted me. You said something. It was like, "Hey, did you see the news? Did you see what happened?"
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, "Okay, we got somebody.
Yeah.
Like something happened." The last thing I expected was Ngakoue. I just wasn't thinking on that spectrum, I love our team. I am glad to see that we were able to do this. We were able to get rid of a 2nd and a conditional 5th rounder, and it goes to a 4th if he makes the Pro Bowl, goes to a 3rd if he makes the Pro Bowl, and we win the Super Bowl. And for me, 2nd and a 3rd round, best case scenario, we win a Super Bowl. I'm through the roof. I'm so happy. We now have a defense that has 2 stars at each level, in Danielle Hunter, Yannick Ngakoue, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Harris, Harrison Smith. That's cold.
And that fits perfectly for what you say. You always talk about having one guy at each level that is a star.
Two of them.
You got two of them. Yeah, the Vikings defense is loaded. It is loaded. Kirk Cousins is still a really good quarterback, no matter what everybody says. He's a solid starting quarterback. You have Cook, who's going to be a baller this year on a contract year. You have Justin Jefferson as your wide receiver too. I still think. Apparently, BC Johnson's showing up in camp, so he might be good. And then obviously you have Thielen. Your offensive line is much improved over the past couple years. Man, the Vikings are obviously Yannick Ngakoue doesn't make this true, but the Vikings are definitely a team to look out for, and they are adding a piece to say, hey, we're here, we're going for it.
I think Yannick is one of those guys that can really swing some wins later on.
Yeah.
A night game at Lambeau, you never know, having those defensive linemen. That's one of the things that disrupted Drew Brees in the playoffs as to why we were able to upset the Saints.
Yeah.
Having that defensive front whenever you have a coach like Mike Zimmer. I mean, he said it before. He says, I'll be anything, but I'm not going to be a coach who fields a bad defense.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And I think having two of those guys, Yannick's 25, Daniil's 26-ish, maybe.
Young guys.
They're young. If we can lock him up to a deal, I'm going to be so happy. He took a pay cut to come.
I was just about to go there. He takes a pay cut. He was going to get over $17 million to play in Jacksonville this year on the extension. He takes $12 million to play for the Vikings on a 1-year contract. That's really what got this deal done.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's crazy because the Jaguars were not getting a first-round pick. We talked about it throughout the offseason.
I said 2 first-round picks isn't crazy.
Yeah, you absolutely did. But when we also said, look, we think his value is 2 first-round picks, and I stand by that. His value is absolutely 2 first-round picks. The problem was Yannick Ngakoue said, I'm not playing for the Jaguars. I'm not playing for them, and completely
hurts
cut
the trade value.
It destroyed the trade value for the Jaguars. So a second-round pick was all they could get.
Yeah.
They get something out of it, which is awesome. The Jaguars are loaded for the next draft. Like we talk about. I mean, look, it's probably going to be a different decision makers in there to make these picks, but they are absolutely loaded for the future. It'll be very interesting to see what the Jaguars do over the next couple of years. I hope they clean house in the for whoever's making the decisions there, whatever's going on in the front office, wherever the culture is that's fucked up. They need to make a change. I don't know where it is. I don't know what the problem is. I hope they just completely clean out. So like what the Dolphins did. The Dolphins had a poor culture. Nobody wanted to play there. They completely changed everything, got a no-nonsense Brian Flores type of coach in there, and really turned the culture around. And then now things in Miami are going in the right direction, at least. Something like that needs to happen for the Jacksonville Jaguars moving forward. But for the
Jacksonville
Vikings,
did good, though, by getting something for the nothing thing.
Yeah.
But the Vikings, we won. We got rid of our second-round pick, retained our first in a draft where it's going to be the murkiest draft we've ever seen because of COVID, because of you don't get to see so-and-so play in college. You got to see this. Is this limited? We killed it.
Yeah. No, you absolutely did. All right, so I'm going to bring something up. This is off the rundown here. This is a 4-year anniversary. This is the 4-year anniversary of the Vikings trading a first-round pick for Sam Bradford.
Thanks. The Sam Bradford deal. And I was wrong in saying that I defended it whenever it happened. Dylan is one of our good friends, and he is also a Vikings fan, and he hated it. I mean, he despised it. He was
I thought everyone hated it, right?
Well, I hated it. I didn't like it, that's for sure. But, I mean, I also acknowledge that we have been in this quarterback. We've been in this quarterback away thing for a long time now. Bradford wasn't it.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
And that trade, very, very, there's an argument to be made that trade won the Eagles their Super Bowl. So Carson Wentz becomes the starter from the beginning, obviously, because that was Carson Wentz's rookie year that they did that. And then for that first round pick that they traded, that you guys traded to him, they got Derek Barnett. That was the guy who recovered the fumble in the Super Bowl that won them the game. So just insane. I just had to. It
only hurts when I think about it.
Yeah, I had to fuck with you a little bit. All right, we'll move on to the
because Bradford wasn't even the one who was playing in those games in the playoffs. It was Case Keenum who took us that far.
Yes, he was. All right, back to our regularly scheduled show. Derwin James will miss the rest of the season with a meniscus surgery.
Horrible news too.
This is the same meniscus that he injured in the first game of the 2016 season and at FSU that took him out for the rest of that season. So very, very unfortunate. He missed 2019. He missed 11 games in 2019 with a foot fracture. Look, this is one of the most talented young defensive players in the game right now. I think we both agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the most talented players in the game right now has now missed the majority of the last 2 seasons, and I mean that's
and how long? I don't want to say it, but how long can you keep the great word attached to your name. The best trait to have as a player is availability.
Yeah,
it's to avoid major injuries. And Derwin James, like you said, is a Pro Bowl safety. I mean, he changes the whole spectrum of the Chargers defense. But he's out, and we are going on another. Last year 11 games. This year the full season. Who knows? At a certain point, as an organization, you got to start. I know they're talking about it.
This is the second non-contact injury in 2 years.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I really could. I'm not 100% sure on the injury from college, even though I'm a Florida State fan. I remember watching that game. I don't remember how he injured it. So it could be 3 non-contact injuries now at the most. Definitely 2. Yeah, it's unfortunate because
it's not what you want to hear.
Yeah, we're not going to be going into 2021 and saying Derwin James is the guy. We're going to be going into 2021 saying, is Derwin James still the same Derwin James we remember from his rookie season?
Can he stay healthy? Because you start to have that injury-ridden thing around you, and it's not good.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. Very sad to see.
And we will move on next. Joe Mixon got a big payday. He signs a 4-year, $48 million extension, according to Ian Rapp. It's a pretty good deal. Yeah. I don't know where that puts him in the whole scheme of the top paid running backs, but I know that some of the big dogs out there are going to be wanting their re-up because Joe Mixon's good, but there's other guys out like Kamara.
We're going to get more information. This just dropped, first of all. So this just dropped from me and Rappaport about maybe, an hour before we started recording this. So we don't have all the information as of recording this. We don't know the guarantees. We don't know anything along those lines.
That's what's important.
Exactly. But man, he gets his contract extension. I think this brings it right into Alvin Kamara, who has been having contract disputes. And another thing that just dropped, Alvin Kamara was set to make $2.1 million this year, right? There's been conflicting reports, today, just right now, like as 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes before recording this, conflicting reports of, do they want to trade Alvin Kamara? The Saints looking to trade him. Are they taking offers? The Saints are saying, or Alvin Kamara and his agents are saying they've never asked for a trade. He has been in the building every day, but he's been doing. I think a lot of players are doing this across the league now. We're seeing hold ends.
Yeah.
Teams are not holding. Players are not holding out. They're holding in. They're staying in. They're staying in the in. They're just not doing the camp basically. Mm-hmm. They're doing all the other things. They're doing the meetings and
saving
stuff like
their
that,
body.
But they're not doing camp. They're saying, hey, I want a contract before I do anything physical. Is basically what they're saying. I like that. I think that's the right thing to do. Alvin Kamara is doing that right now to get a bigger contract. Very, very interesting that Joe Mixon gets this deal. We saw a lot of running backs get paid this offseason.
Well, Joe Mixon's a talented back, too. I think if you're Cincinnati and you're trying to have your pieces, they have a promising future.
And that was the same draft. That was the same draft.
2017 has some of the best running backs out there.
But if you look at that draft, Joe Mixon just got paid this offseason. Austin Eckler, who was undrafted, but in that same draft class, got paid at the beginning of the offseason. We saw Christian McCaffrey get the highest paid contract for a running back. Same team. Look, we saw Leonard Fournette get cut. Dalvin's probably going to get paid.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is going to be up for a contract. And Alvin Kamara, he's right in the mix as one of the best running backs in that draft class. And he wants to get paid, and I don't blame him for wanting to get paid. What are the Saints going to do?
I don't know why they wouldn't pay him.
Yeah, I don't either.
Does that sound crazy to me? I think Kamara is up there with the McCaffreys of the NFL. Yeah. Not saying he deserves the money because the Saints have to balance their own budget in their own way. And I'm sure Kamara would understand that. I don't know what he's asking for.
Yeah, nobody
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right now it's a value deal getting him for $2 million. He's worth $12 million.
He absolutely is. The thing about Kamara is he has a lot of tread on the tire still.
Yes.
He
never got used to that in college.
Very underused at UT, goes into the NFL, and has always been in a split backfield. He was splitting with Ingram in his rookie year. He has been splitting with Latavius Murray, and he's so talented that he's still a top 5, top 7 fantasy running back every single year in your fantasy draft because his production is so insane compared to his usage. And it's just consistent. Whenever he's on the field and healthy, he's a baller. He really is.
It's weird seeing the whole don't pay the running back thing come back into it. It's just the way teams value this position.
Yeah.
It's something that they feel, maybe the Saints are thinking, yeah, Kamara's great. We know that. But that would save us $13, $14 million annually, and we could just go use another mid-round pick, which is where they hit on Kamara anyways. Yeah. So,
you're not wrong at all. The Saints, look, they really haven't paid a running back in a while. They didn't pay Ingram. Who was the running back before that? They didn't pay. I can't think of the last time they really paid their running back as far as that. I'd have to go back a little bit. I'm sure in the comments somebody will tell me I'm very wrong. Very interesting. I would hope Kamara doesn't get traded just for I've drafted in a lot of fantasy leagues, guys.
Kamara's about to mess people up in fantasy.
And I have Kamara in a league, and I was looking to trade him, and I declined a couple different offers because I was like, Kamara's going to be awesome, and now he might get traded to some team that's not going to use him. Jeez, that would be terrible.
You don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, oh no, we don't. Yeah, he probably won't get traded. I don't imagine this. I think the Saints take a huge hit offensively if he gets traded, right?
Well, what if he does the whole sit out thing for the whole? The year like that. That hurts him too.
3 or 4 games. Yeah, honestly,
exactly.
Yeah, that would be brutal. That would be absolutely brutal. I don't even know how that would work. That would suck. That really would suck. So with Kamara, I think if you're a Kamara owner, you have to sign Latavius Murray if he is on your waiver wire. He probably isn't, but you have to sign him if he's on your waiver wire. And if you're a Kamara owner, you have to take a good long hard look at Ty Montgomery. T.Y. Montgomery. He is there. He's their third running back. He fits what Alvin Kamara does to an extent.
As
the ssame style of running back.
Yeah.
The same style of running back is what I'm saying. You know,
he
the pass
catch
catching.
Passes.
Yeah, the pass catching running back. He's not as talented as Kamara. He's not in the same level. He's not in the same stratosphere anyway, shape or form. But if the Saints are going to do what they've always done and split carries between their two running backs, you know, even when Kamara was hurt, they were using Latavius Murray and whoever else they had. You know, it wasn't just the Latavius Murray show. Yeah, so I would think Ty Montgomery would get some kind of usage as well. So he's something to know for fantasy, for sure.
All right. Chiefs sign Andy Reid and Brett Veach, an extension through 2025. So the Chiefs are remaining this monster of the NFL.
Yeah, they're going to be a powerhouse.
We knew it was coming. Yeah. What are you going to do? You got to extend them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So kind of this. How close are we to saying that this team could be a dynasty? They won 1 Super Bowl, right? So obviously they're not a dynasty yet.
No, but they're gonna form a dynasty. This is gonna be something that we are gonna see like the Patriots, a 20-year stint to where they are always in the mention.
Yeah.
Of as long as you have Pat Mahomes, you're good, and only keeping Andy Reid and the team together, you're good to go.
Look, they've drafted really well. They've brought in talent. I feel like
when they're willing to use the checkbook to keep the core together.
They've kept the core together. That's my biggest worry is that they may have overpaid some of their lesser used commodities. Like they paid Demarcus Robinson a good bit to stay on. Their wide receiver 4. That's the thing that scares me about the long-term success for the Chiefs. You never saw the Patriots do that throughout their dynasty. The guys that were complementary pieces in their offense and defense, they let them go and drafted a new guy. So that's always been the Patriots model. I'm always going to model any team that I'm looking to be a dynasty after what the Patriots did. Right? They have a great coach and they have a great quarterback. That's the majority of it. That's the start. Look, if the Chiefs win the next 4 Super Bowls, are you shocked?
No. That's insane to say.
Yeah, of course. I'm not predicting that by any means. I'm just saying.
But it's one of those things that we know. We know they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're in the playoffs, what's the goal?
Yeah.
There you go. That's how it is.
We've never seen Patrick Mahomes be nothing has been too big for the moment, right?
Yeah.
He goes and has this insane rookie season that just blows everything that we've ever seen out of the water, and then comes back the next year and does it again, essentially, except he missed a couple games through injury. Comes back from a knee injury that could have taken him out of the season, doesn't miss a beat. He's down 10 points through 2 interceptions in the first half of the Super Bowl, it looked like. I think it was the first half. Comes back in the second half, comes back from a 10-point deficit with 10 minutes left in the game, 3rd and 15, throws a bomb down the field. Like, nothing gets to this guy. It's it. In my opinion, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. In my opinion, if he does what he's done over the past 2 years for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, he'll be the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. I think this can absolutely be a dynasty. Keeping Andy Reid, keeping Brett Veach, that's just, sure, it's icing on the cake.
He's good. He should be. I know it's so crazy to say because we've only seen him for 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
That by the time it's all said and done, if we continue to see the Pat Mahomes that we have seen, he'll be on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. All right, we'll move on to some slightly more unfortunate news. We're really going back and forth with good and bad news here. NFL takes over the investigation for misconduct allegations against Dan Snyder and the Washingtons. Look, we might as well call this podcast the We Hate Dan Snyder podcast because, we are not fans of him. We make no bones about it. I will speak for myself and say I truly hope he's kicked out of the NFL and has to sell his team. I do hope that because obviously there's been the culture has been fucked for far too long.
Yeah.
And this is going back to the way they've handled players, the way their medical staff handled the tumor in their left tackle's head, the way they handled Kirk Cousins, all of it. They clearly don't respect their players. They don't respect their staff. They don't respect anything about, I feel like, the game in general. And Dan Snyder's at the head of it. I don't know what's going to happen. It's unfortunate here. 25 women have come forward and alleged instances of workplace harassment. They have originally, I believe it was 8, and nobody named Dan Snyder, so he kind of got off scot-free. Well, another 17 women have come out, and they have named Dan Snyder as being a part of certain things that were disrespectful and straight up harassment towards women. We don't know anything. We're not going to speak on it too much, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Dan Snyder's had a really bad offseason. Yeah,
I hope they do their due diligence with the investigation and everything comes out of that. Taking that out of this, though, I do think it is time for Dan Snyder to move on from Washington because you have the whole logo and trademark and franchise upheaval going on. You're going to be just a new brand soon. Why not take that brand and just put it with someone else, someone who can build the culture, right? Because like you said, I mean, this has been a team that has traded away pick after pick and dating all the way back to RG3 type stuff. I mean, we have seen just some debacles with the way things have been handled.
Constantly.
And it's just time after time, situation after situation. He always is able to somehow, divert it. It's like, oh, it was this, we're good. It was the coach, it was this, we'll clean house. It's time to get rid of him, man. Get your money while you can. You need to get out before this team gets forcibly taken away from you.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're still going to be a fucking billionaire, so I don't feel too bad for you.
He's got the money there. I want to see more for Washington and the fans and the team
fans
itself.
Deserve more, absolutely.
They do. They haven't seen a legit team
They're in Washington, D.C. They need a win. Come on. All right. Is there anything else really to say? Heart goes out to the women, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to muddy the waters by just talking about Dan Snyder. It's truly unfortunate just that so many women were affected by this. But it's good that it's coming out, and it's good that change is going to happen.
Yeah. We'll get to another piece of good news. It's where guys get paid now. We are doing the bounce back and forth. Giants signed Logan Ryan, 1 year, $7.5 million. He wanted $10 million. And it seemed like the Jets, because when I heard that he went to New York, I was like, oh, the Jets paid him, right?
Yeah.
No, he ended up going to the Giants. They're trying to build up this whole secondary thing by losing DeAndre Baker.
Yeah.
I like Logan Ryan a lot. I do think his value with the Titans, I'm trying to think of amplified his true value. Yeah. That position that he was able to play.
He was used very well with the Titans.
And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that exact same thing on another defense.
Yeah. I will say, Joe Judge obviously comes from that Patriot school of the same kind of thing for the Titans. Yeah. So there is that connection there that makes sense. $7.5 million, I still think it's kind of a lot for Logan Ryan, but the Giants were in desperate need. Look, DeAndre Baker's not coming back to the field this year for legal reasons. Xavier McKinney broke his foot. That was their second round pick out of Alabama. Look, they're out of Jabril Peppers is a name a lot of people know. Julian Love, name some people know. Those are their starting safeties, so they're okay there. But James Bradbury, do we believe in? No. Grant Haley, do we believe in? No. Corey Ballentine, late round pick for the Giants, who actually performed pretty well last year. All for the most part unproven commodities. There's nobody there that we're excited about on that secondary. They needed help, and Logan Ryan, look, he did exactly what he's probably supposed to do. I mean, he waited. He wanted to get as much as he could out of the value. The Giants weren't going to give him $10 million, which is apparently what he was wanting. But I mean, he waited for a team that needed him to come calling, and they did. So it worked out for Logan Ryan. I still think the Giants are in a lot of trouble in their secondary, though.
Oh, I mean, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be a bad team defensively. I mean, they have Saquon on offense. They have some pieces at wide receiver that you want. Evan Ingram step up, but it's not going to be a good year. They're still working on the rebuild. I mean, Joe Judge is just now getting into his version of the rebuild. We don't know where that's going to take us if Daniel Jones is the guy, if he likes him that much. Yeah. So it's going to be a really big year for them. Glad Logan Ryan got paid. I do think $7 million was right where I thought he would go. Yeah. Asking for 11 plus was like, whoa, now.
Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Another guy who got paid, Zach Cunningham, linebacker, second round pick out of Vanderbilt a couple of years ago, gets paid by the Texans. He signs a 4-year, $58 million extension.
He's good.
Getting $14.5 million a year guaranteed. Yeah, and I mean, look, that's the center of their defense, and really, after J.J. Watt is on the tail end of his career. J.J. Watt is not going to be there in 2 or 3 years. In 2 or 3 years, Zach Cunningham is going to be the face of that defense.
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
It's. I mean, there's not a lot of names.
There's nobody else there.
They lost Jadeveon. The Honey Badger was there for a little while, and then he was gone. So It's different. It's different to say that I don't think the Texans defense is elite like they were anymore.
I don't even think they're good. I mean, I think I would go the other way and say they're not going to be a good defense this year.
Zach Cunningham, they need him, and they locked him down for a reason. But Zach Cunningham being the face of your defense, I mean, he's good.
He's a good
not
linebacker.
Not a JJ Watt though.
Yeah, and he's not. He definitely doesn't have the star power. He's not of the level of some of the top linebackers in the league. He's not there, but he's definitely a good running back. Or excuse me, definitely a good linebacker. Gonna help their team. Let's move into some college.
Yeah.
Oh no, I want you to start here. We got Auburn. You got to talk about your Auburn boys.
We will do the bad news for Auburn. So we are having a COVID issue right now with the team. We have 9 players that were infected, up to 18 exposed. A lot of rumors being tossed around saying that Gus Malzahn may have contracted it himself and given it to the players at meetings.
Really?
So it's not good. As a whole on the campus, they have 490 students, and that is up 200-something from last week where they were at like 220. So small pop going on. Anthony Schwartz is a very talented wide receiver at Auburn, and he is very vocal on Twitter, calling out students, calling out faculty, calling out anyone who isn't wearing their mask, isn't taking the right precautions on this virus. He's been pretty upset about it, saying that he feels safe in the football facility, but when he gets out on campus, he said it doesn't surprise him. He said there should be more, honestly.
Really?
So it sucks. We knew this was going to happen, though. I mean, we knew with football still going around in football operations and college kids, I mean, they're going to be going wild, partying and everything. That's just how it is. It's reality. I mean, you're a fool if you think otherwise. So cases are going to spike. It's going to go up. It might get ugly. I don't know if it's going to get uglier. I really hope it doesn't, though, because the Big Ten might be sitting back and laughing before you know it.
Man. Yeah, this is a bad look for college, man.
Yeah,
and this is just Auburn. We don't know what's going on. This is obviously the worst outbreak that I feel like we've seen for college teams.
Auburn was doing really good too, testing every single day, and that's all it takes is one pop.
Yeah, and you look at the NFL. Nine players in the NFL have COVID right now. That's it. That's really good for 32 teams.
Yeah.
Right now they're still 70+ roster spots. 9 guys have COVID. That is a very manageable number, and that's the kind of numbers that the NFL wants to see. This is just an absolute. I mean, this is a bombshell for college. I feel like this could get a lot worse really fast, and I mean, it's the ecosystem of the college game and why I feel like we've been saying it for a while. The college game is going to be so much harder to go through COVID than the NFL game is.
It's the atmosphere, it's the tailgating, it's the college kids, the
everything
parties,
about it. Yeah,
everything is definitely not socially distanced acceptable.
If you're a college athlete, you have to go to class.
Yeah.
If you're a college athlete, you have to go. You have to go do things that are not that are fundamentally not set up for a disease and an outbreak like this. When the NFL, has the money obviously and has the fluidity to make changes and prepare for this in a way that college just can't because of things outside of their control. Very, very scary. I hope this is just an isolated incident as far as one college campus got hit, and hopefully they get through it. Let it
run its course. It'll get a little worse, and the SEC seems like they're going to be the ones to stick their neck out and probably
The SEC's going.
They're going to tough it out.
The SEC's going. Let's be honest, guys.
They're going to make it happen.
We live in the South. We know the guys in the South, they're going to play some fucking football. We know that. Come on.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, we want it, man.
This time last year, we were in Dallas watching Auburn beat Oregon.
Yes.
That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that we were a year removed from college football. It doesn't really feel like it's been that long for me. But right now, games should be being played, and it's...
Yeah. Hey, our alma mater, Austin Peay.
Yes.
Austin Peay State University
first game
kicked off the college football season. How messed up is that?
Well, they kicked it off too with a 70-yard touchdown first play of the game. So I saw Auburn tweeting about Austin Peay, and I was like, "What world am I living in?" I never saw this many people talking about the Peay. It's show me your penis.
Yes, that's our motto.
Yeah. P-E-A-Y.
Yeah, P-E-A-Y. Yeah. All right. I mean, there's no good news to talk about in college.
Nope.
We're losing Jamar Chase for the season. Not injury, opt out. He's preparing for the NFL draft. He is foregoing his last season of eligibility. He opts out. Look, this is what I mean. I think he's in the top 5 of anybody who follows who already has the projections out for next year's draft. Right? Yeah. He's a top 5 talent. Jamar Chase. Look, Justin Jefferson went 22 overall. Jamar Chase is on the same team, was just out. I mean, he's 10 times better than Justin Jefferson. I'll put it that way. He's an absolute beast. If you haven't heard of him, you will. And he opts out for LSU. And it's kind of weird how it happened.
I thought for sure that if you were going to opt out, you would do it like when Rondale Moore did. You know, you would do it before you get exposed or before you go on the scene. So what I think happened, and a little bit of an Auburn bias here, but I think Jamar Chase showed up, did 2 weeks of practice, and went, God, where's Joe Burrow at? Who's Miles Brennan? Get me out of here. I'm opting out. I'm saving my stock. I'm saving my body.
Yeah.
You know, fuck COVID, all this stuff. I'm going to opt out and let LSU do LSU this year.
Yeah, I'm not jumping 10 feet in the air just to get humbled by a safety.
They lost a lot of talent. I mean, Joe Burrow, Brady left, and he went on. I mean, I can't remember where he's at off the top of my head.
Yeah, Joe Brady went to Carolina to be offensive coordinator there.
So, I mean, there's a lot. Clyde Edwards is gone. Thaddeus Moss. Justin Jefferson,
yeah, I mean,
Cushenberry, they're
all
going to be a different team.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of very bold, I would say bold, SEC takes saying that LSU is still atop the throne, and I think they're a one-hit wonder. I think they still have a really good defense. LSU has always had a really good defense. What is the one thing that LSU never has? Quarterback and offensive elite play. They got it with Burrow.
Yeah,
it's gone now. So I don't know what Miles Brennan's going to do. Jamar Chase, losing him doesn't help you any.
No, not at all.
So I do think there might be some more 5-stars coming soon, too.
You think so?
Dylan Moses from Alabama pops off in my mind. Me and you feel a little differently about it. I think he should sit out. I think it would be better for him, considering last year he was a top 10 pick, and consensus-wise. And even hurt, he was still into the first round.
Yeah.
So do you go out there, do you show your health, do you show that you're good and ready to go, or do you sit and just say, I'm healthy, you know what I am?
Yeah, I think after missing a year, you have to come out and say, hey, I'm the dude still. Yeah. And look, you play for Alvin. Look, injury's always a concern. I do understand that.
But if
I don't want to take that away.
He could lose it all.
He could absolutely lose it all. I think he's also looking at it from the side that I'm a beast. I'm going to be on the Alabama defense, so everything is going to be kind of easy for me. Or not easy. I don't want to say that. But he's going to have every opportunity to succeed. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I do think, if he shows up and balls out, he can be a top 10 pick. I mean, I think that's definitely something he's thinking about. Pick. You think he's a top 10 pick right now?
I know he has that potential. I guarantee you that.
I absolutely agree with that. But after missing a year from injury and then opting out for a season, I cannot imagine.
I put money that he goes in the first round. That's it. I mean, we're talking 20 picks difference.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you have a team that went to the playoffs in the later part of the first round and needs help at linebacker. You don't want to take a chance on the talent that you know is there. Look, you haven't seen him play football for 2 years, but yeah, you take a chance on Dylan Moses. That's fine. But if you're a team in the top 10 that needs to hit on a pick,
I get that if you're going to go Micah Parsons out of Penn State,
exactly.
But he opted out too.
That's totally. Look, we don't know how this draft is going to be weird.
That's why I'm saying how murky of a draft it's going to be.
Yeah.
With going off of, man, he was 19 the last time we saw him on film.
Yeah.
He was 17 or not. I mean, 19 is where I'll stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan Moses being hurt. I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know if he should. I'm just looking at it from, I don't want to see that happen to him, because if he has another injury where it sidelines him, you start to have he's injury prone.
Yeah.
Now he's a late second, maybe a third round pick. Now you're taking a flyer on him. And I know the talent is through the roof with this guy, top 15 caliber.
Yeah.
There could be more. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, they have to make their minds up as to what they want to do. We've seen a lot of wide receivers.
Yeah, I think Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith are both first-round picks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like right now, if they opted out, they're still going in the first round. In my mind, I know it's kind of crazy to say, but I do believe that.
Losing Jamar, losing Rondale, losing both of those guys. We saw Sage Surratt go out for Wake Forest. I mean, there's a lot of names that have decided to opt out.
Oh, of course, yeah. And then the college, and the fact that it's not over. We thought it was over. We thought the big names had already gone. Jamar Chase is just it's a bombshell in the sense. It's arguably the biggest, and it's a bombshell in the sense that that might not be it. There could be so much more happening. We just don't know. And honestly, do we think Jamar Chase was looking over at Auburn and said, "Hey, that could happen to us"? Is it possible that he was on Twitter, he was reading the same guy, and he's looking at the campus and saying, "Yeah, these guys aren't taking it serious either." An outbreak could come, and this could, that could hurt him. Do you think he's worried about that?
Never know how you look at it. I mean, I would like to think this is the year that you actually can opt out and not be considered selfish, not have that, that tag go to your name where it's like, oh, he didn't want to play in that game. He didn't want to do that. It's like, forget him then.
Yeah.
It's like these guys are looking out for their health. They're looking out, just.
Yeah, they know they're about to be millionaires in 1 year. Have you ever been in a situation where you're going to be a millionaire in 1 year? No, you haven't. So it's like I can't imagine how these guys feel. You're absolutely right. If you have an opportunity, if I'm sitting there, I'm probably have green in my eyes, and I'm saying, this is my opportunity. This is my chance. I'm in a perfect situation where I can opt out and still be a top 5 pick, and nobody's going to question, oh, why did you opt out? It's not. It'll be one note in the conversation. People like, oh, you opted out last year. Yeah, COVID-19 sucked. Like,
that's it. You're good to go. You don't have any other questions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, so we'll move on. That could be scary, man. That really could. Hopefully we still have a college season. Hopefully the draft isn't too impacted by this. We don't know what's going to happen, but let's look at what we do know. We know some injuries. All right, let's go through this really quick. Miles Sanders is struggling with a hamstring. He's trying to be ready for week 1. He's trying. Very serious injury issue there.
Which leads with the Leonard Fournette talk, right?
Yeah,
that's why I thought just having the running back, you got to have a lot of them. Kind of matches what a Jordan Howard was to Philly. He can do that same role. Hopefully Miles Sanders is good. Fantasy value-wise, it's supposed to be a breakout year for him.
Yeah.
We'll go San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle has hamstring tightness. Yep. And we always mention hamstrings just because these are things that linger on into the year. Yep. And they can make a great player have to play through it, and then it just
not as good. Not as good. George Kittle getting in, and look, the hamstring tightness doesn't sound as bad as like the strain that Miles Sanders had.
Yeah,
but still very nerve wracking. We'll move forward with Jalen Reagor, another Philadelphia Eagle. Philadelphia is on this list a lot. I'm really worried about the Eagles.
I don't know what they do.
Man, I don't know what it is. Jalen Reagor out 4 weeks. He got a shoulder injury tackling as a wide receiver because Jalen Hurts threw an interception. He went and tackled.
Why is he tackling?
Why? Well,
it's a practice.
It's a practice. It's a two-end. Look, you don't know how to tackle. You're a wide receiver. You're a really fast wide receiver. Like you've never been on defense your entire life. Maybe in Pop Warner.
Shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know. That's unfortunate. That is what it is. Out 4 weeks. Hopefully this doesn't affect him too much. Definitely hurts his. I mean, are you drafting him in fantasy at this point?
I mean, I wanted him
and a redraft regularly,
but with the chance that 4 weeks will extend into the season, right?
Oh yeah. He's missing the first month of the season most likely.
So I mean, I don't know where you go with it, and it just adds on the fact that he is one of those smaller bodied speedster guys, and they're susceptible to any injuries like that, and the shoulder is not one that you want because as soon as you catch the ball, guess what's coming?
Yeah.
It's that safety. He's going to hit you.
Yeah. You're going to land.
We'll keep it with Philly. Carson Wentz is on the injury report as well with a soft tissue injury.
Yeah. Man, they're just getting absolutely.
I don't know what they do. I really don't. But they're always hurt. They lose the O-line. They lose all sorts of pieces.
They're getting brutalized. It's so unfortunate. We'll end it with the injury talk. We just kind of took the biggest names. So there's obviously a longer list, but we had to kind of keep this part of the show a little bit shorter. So we got a lot to go through. But Cooper Kupp has a minor low ankle injury. Definitely something to look at. He's calling it minor. He's going to be ready for the season according to Cooper Kupp, according to the coaches. But definitely something to look at. Let's move on. Let's go work from camp. Look, we did a really long one last week. We're going to keep it a little bit shorter this week. But we'll start off with Jordan Atkins out of Houston, their tight end. He's a fantasy sleeper, according to a Houston beat writer. Look, he had 36 receptions for 418 yards last year and 2 touchdowns in 2019. That was his sophomore year. He's going to his third season as a tight end. We've seen historically the third season is a big year for the tight end. Could this be a breakout season for Jordan Atkins?
So, I mean, I think when you look at it from a fantasy standpoint, too, there's no price tag attached to his name. You can get him at will pretty much. And, I mean, Deshaun's throwing to him. It's a great outlet if they can get that connection, if he can be his safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see no reason as to why not.
Yeah,
I think it should be up there with the bottom of tier 2-ish guys, like the Austin Hooper, the Hayden Hurst right there.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think he's going to be able to get you some points.
Yeah, look, I do a lot of best ball leagues, and that's just where you draft and you leave it alone, and then at the end of the year you look at it. He's a guy that I'm getting with one of my last picks because it's like he's totally free. Nobody's really looking at him, and just draft him because I always go late on tight end anyway. You just want to have a couple tight ends on there that can do something for you. I absolutely agree. He definitely look at the end of last season, he did pop a little bit for me. I mean, I remember the playoff game against the Bills. I feel like he had a couple big plays there that really was like, wow, okay, that's a name that Deshaun likes. But moving forward, Quintez Cephas, wide receiver, rookie wide receiver from Wisconsin. He's standing out in camp for the Packers. I loved him in college. I will say that. I know he had some off the field issues, but his last season put up over 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, and on 59 receptions. His last year at Wisconsin. Wisconsin doesn't throw the ball.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. So that's definitely interesting. Look, is this a roster that's gonna get impacted? Can he break into that? Or it's the Lions. I said Packers. He's the Lions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you have Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola. They kind of have their own little thing right there. Yeah. But, I mean, the starting lineup, I'm not going to go that far as to say that, but I do think that he can come in and be serviceable at times. I think he's a big-bodied guy. He does a really good job at that. His ball control in the air,
very
amazing.
Good. Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think he's definitely a name to look at. Name that I would definitely look at if you're in like a dynasty league or a deep keeper. Like look at him late. He's definitely a name to keep an eye on. I don't imagine you're drafting him anywhere inside the top 20 rounds, though. No, to be honest, like
he'll be a guy if he balls out in one random week. It'll start to.
Yeah, his fantasy value this year I can't imagine is big, but definitely a name to look at.
We'll move forward with Benny Snell, Pittsburgh. He has emerged as a number 2. He is a good back coming out of Kentucky. He's going on his, I believe, second year now.
Yeah, this is his second year.
So he is going to be the backup to James Conner. I think they are going to use him because, I mean, I don't think Connor's not Lev Bell. You know, he doesn't have that versatility aspect that you can do. So.
Am I great? I don't believe in James Conner this year.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
You don't like Juju either.
I like Juju fine. Okay. I don't like him for the. I think the risk isn't worth it in the 3rd round in fantasy. Yeah. I think I've said that. But I'm talking just as a running back on the field, James Conner. I don't know about him. Look, the Pittsburgh Steelers, since Le'Veon Bell has left, the Pittsburgh Steelers have drafted a running back in the middle rounds pretty much every year, which, look, I always say, as far as draft value, do that. The Pittsburgh Steelers are doing exactly what they should do. Look, take a chance on a Benny Snell in the 4th round. Take a chance on an Anthony McFarland this past year in, the 4th or 5th round. That's smart. That's the way you should do it. And you're going to find a guy.
Gems, yeah.
To me, James Conner has not been the playmaking baller that we need. Look, he's a fine running back. He's a good player, but he feels to me, in my personal opinion, like he should be in a running back by committee. He is not the guy that should just be getting the ball 25 snaps a game. He's not that talented to warrant that, in my opinion.
Dang, I like James Conner.
Okay.
I think when you bring back Big Ben, because I'm big on him this year, and if he's healthy, I think it really, you're not getting as many 8-9 guys because last year it was bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, were you afraid of them passing the ball on you with Duck Hodges?
Not at all.
Exactly. So it'll spread the field more.
Yeah.
Juju's going to help. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. They have Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
Eric Ebron has the most touchdowns
James
out of any tight end in the red zone out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have some weapons.
Yeah.
James Conner's going to eat.
You think so? Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Benny Snell's a good handcuff to snag.
We disagree on that. Yeah, I actually grabbed Benny Snell in one of my leagues. I was just kind of excited about him after seeing this thing from camp. I don't know. I think James Conner, he's a good running back. He's had a lot of injury issues as well. That's the other part of it. And I really liked Benny Snell coming out. I thought he was a really good back, explosive dude. But yeah, we'll move on. That is it for Word from Camp. Guys, we have our AFC projections, right? So we're going to go through every single division in the AFC. We're going to talk about where we think they're going to end up. And we're going to do it a little bit differently because throughout the offseason, we went division by division and did a deep dive about all the things that they did. And that was an awesome series. First of all, a lot has happened, and we gave our projections for how it was going to end up. These are our final projections. These are what we are going to grade ourselves on at the end of the season. We're going to go back and look at this and say, okay, who was right, who was wrong. And what we're going to do, because the cool thing is we're using Bovada, and what they do is their sports book that actually gives you the odds for play. You can bet on their place, right? So you can bet on the Dolphins ending up in 2nd place in their division, 3rd place in their division, 4th place in their division, wherever. And you can do that for every single team in every division. So we're going to go through that. We're also going to break it down in division, talk about different, different prop bets that I saw on Bovada that I really liked. So we're going to go through all that. Loaded gambling show. I'm not going to lie. I put about $200 on there, and I have a couple bets that I want to make. I'm very excited. I love season long bets. I love looking at different things and being like, ooh, Cam Newton, Well, yeah,
that's why I like Bovada a lot because they have so many different ones.
Well,
like those ones that you said about Cam Newton and the over/under on interceptions or something
absolutely.
like that.
Those and cool it's just fun throughout the season. Look, you don't put a lot of money on it. You're not putting your paycheck on it, but like $20-$30 to win, $50-$60 at the end of the season, that's fun. And I won a good bit last year. I put a lot of money on, and this, the 49ers winning their division. It was I don't remember exactly what the payout was, but I put like $40-$50 on that, and I won like $200 or $300. So it was a good little chunk of change. All right, so let's start with the AFC East, right? And we actually agree in our rankings, right?
I've swapped.
You have swapped. All right, I'm actually going to let you explain why.
So I was feeling the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets in that order. I have since changed, and I'm sorry, Bills Mafia, you still have a really good team, but the hype on Cam Newton is real. I love Cam Newton, and Bill Belichick has endorsed Cam Newton by saying everything but he's the starter. I mean, he said no one works harder than Cam.
Yeah.
Cam is just, he has the Patriots looking like they're actually having fun in practice now, too.
Yeah.
You never see that coming out of there.
Yeah.
I hope Cam is able to do it, and with Belichick and that still really damn good defense, they're going to take the division.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Look, I was saying that when Jarrett Stidham was going to be the starter. I still had the Patriots. I was not going to...
Jarrett Stidham Patriots wouldn't be up there for me.
Yeah, and I do understand that. I was not going to sit there and say that I didn't believe in the Patriots to win that division until they didn't win that division, and I got proven wrong. So I was going to stick with the Patriots. Yeah. Look, at plus 140, basically, you know, if you're betting 100, you would win 145, right? So they're at plus 140 to win the division and be in first place in that division. I think that's pretty good odds, honestly. When's the last time the Patriots have been anything other than a favorite to win a division? I mean, honestly,
Tom Brady was hurt.
Yeah, that was it. That's it.
They still won 9 games.
I think they won 10 games that year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they were screwed actually. All right, so Bills come in at 2 at plus 190 to win that division according to Bovada. I look. I really like the Bills this year.
I'll put money on the Bills.
Yeah, they're a great football team. To put them at number 2, it's difficult. I think they're guaranteed to be their number 2 or number 1. I think that's a lock. Obviously, nobody really believes in the Dolphins and Jets to do that much. They're an awesome team. Josh Allen is nerve-wracking to me. We have not heard good things out of camp. We both agree. We're pro Josh Allen on this podcast. We both
I like him a lot.
We've sung his praises. I mean, we've been playing the yard on Madden a lot. And who's the one guy you've been playing?
Josh Allen.
You've been playing the Josh Allen build constantly. It's been a lot of fun. We like Josh Allen a lot, but there have been bad things coming out of camp. There's been a lot of negative. If you look at the in-depth stats, there are a lot of things that do not spell good things for Josh Allen. We're going to see. I'm still going to say I believe in him, but there's definitely room to be nervous. But beyond that, great defense all across the board. Have a lot of weapons on the offensive side. Obviously traded for Stephon Diggs, which was a big move. They draft the Zach Moss to be the complement to a Devin Singletary. That 1-2 punch is going to be very interesting, I think. I think it's a really good football team. I think the Patriots and Bills are going to be going down to the wire for this division. I'm still going to give it to the Patriots, like you said, with Cam Newton, but it's going to be close.
Cam can take the Patriots back up to where they were on a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I really think so. Yeah. Stidham doesn't have him in that capability. Stidham is playoff capable, but it's the vibe that Cam brings, and a healthy Cam and a revenge-seeking Cam. You do not want to be in the way of that if he is healthy.
Yeah.
I truly believe he's good to go. Bill seems to think the same. It's going to be scary to see.
Definitely is. All right, we did put the Dolphins. We'll mention it real quick.
Yeah.
We had the Dolphins over the Jets. I think a lot of people would question that. Look, I think the Dolphins are going in the right direction. Their offensive line still needs work, but they added two top 50 picks to that offensive line, so that's going to help them. They obviously added a ton of talent to that team through free agency and the draft, so they're going to be better. And look, they won 5 games last year with nobody on the roster. I mean,
and Fitzmagic is still going to have the job, and he can mess around and sling the ball and get you some wins. It's a built-up defense, I think, on the secondary especially.
Much better defense. And look, the Jets are a dumpster fire right now. I'll say it.
Adam Gase is bad.
Adam Gase is a locker room cancer. And not many times you can say that about your coach, but he is a locker room cancer. They're talking about giving Le'Veon Bell a 60-40 split with the 72-year-old.
It's disrespectful.
I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Frank Gore, 72-year-old Frank Gore. I don't understand that. Look, but I don't get it, man. I really don't. I think the Dolphins are kind of a lock for that third place, and Bovada has the odds at plus 210. So basically, you can double your money. Bet 20, you can win $42 essentially. And then the Jets are at plus 125, which actually isn't great odds, I don't think. But I think the Jets are kind of a lock at that 4 spot. So I mean, it's very, very interesting. I know we both agree, so there's not a whole lot to go anywhere else. Anything else you want to add?
Adam Gase is inept with being able to utilize the talents around him.
Yeah.
He is one of those coaches who has his idea, his ideology, and he's going to make it fit no matter what weapons you have around him.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not a good way to build your team.
I could not.
You have a weapon like Lev, you need to use him like Lev.
Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. All right, so let's go through this. So these are our best bets on Bovada. We're going to go through. So what we did is we went down through every single bet that you could take on the AFC East and just pointed out some things that we really liked, a couple things that I'm actually going to be putting money on, and just a couple things that are really interesting. I think it's fun for the gamblers out out there, I know some of you are going to be like, oh shit, that's an awesome deal. Look, so we believe in the Patriots to be number one, right? Mm-hmm. There is a world where the Patriots suck this year, right?
There's a chance.
There's definitely a chance. There's people that are predicting it. The Patriots are plus 525 to go to end up in fourth place. Not something I'm expecting. 525 is something that's very unlikely. But if you are somebody out there that disagrees with us, thinks that the Patriots are going to suck with Cam Newton, thinks Cam Newton is going to get hurt, they have no run game, they don't have a lot of weapons at wide receiver, their defense
I can paint you a bad picture for the Patriots.
Absolutely, we both can. In fourth place, plus 525, according to Bovada Sportsbook. That is definitely something that I would look at, something I would think about. I'm just saying.
If the train falls off the tracks, the defense has lost a lot of key pieces. I'm sure they'll still field a good one, but Cam, Stidham, you never know. Offensive line, they've lost a few pieces there. Mm-hmm. Receivers, nothing pops out to you. It's the quarterback that can really feed off of those guys. Yeah. Running back game, you said they're all kind of banged up.
Yeah.
No, throw a couple bucks on it, and you never know if it does fall off the tracks, and you win big off of it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. All right, so I want to bring up this next one. I know it's your turn.
Yeah.
But I think this next bet is like locked and loaded. Don't understand this line. Don't understand why this would be the number. Cam Newton, over under 14.5 interceptions.
Yeah, it's the under. He's never hit that before.
He's hit 15 or more interceptions twice. Once was his rookie season, so don't count that. This is just ridiculous to me. You're on the New England Patriots. Do you think the New England Patriots are going to let Cam Newton throw 15 interceptions?
That's the other thing where I think you have outs.
Yeah.
There's first off, Cam has not been named the starter.
No.
Okay, so let's just say that. And then if he is the starter, I don't think Bill's smart enough to keep him from throwing 15 interceptions.
Yeah, he's not throwing 15 interceptions. Yeah. There's no fucking way. The under is at minus 125, so those are not great odds as far as betting. You have to bet 125 to win 100. But yeah, I would absolutely slam that. I'm betting a good bit of money on that because I think that's free money at the end of the year. I really do. I think that's a guarantee. He's not throwing 15 interceptions. I would be shocked. The thing is, if he has a bad game, if he throws like 3 interceptions in a game in week 5, Bill will sit him. Bill's not going to have that. That doesn't happen in New England. It just doesn't. Doesn't matter what your name is.
They'll start handing the ball off if he's having a bad one because they're still a run the football type of team.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They're going to play it safe. Look, people are worried about the defense because they had a lot of opt-outs. Doesn't matter. Bill, look, how often have we seen the Patriots trade away a guy who was a star on their defense and replace him with a no-name?
Yeah, they always do.
I'm just not worried about their defense. Their defense is still going to be really good. This team is going to be run first, control the ball, and then you have Cam Newton who can make plays and adds that element to your team. I think they're going to be a good football team in general. I would be absolutely shocked at 15 interceptions.
We're very pro-New England and pro-Cam and pro-everything because this next bet from Bovada is Julian Edelman over under 900 receiving yards. And we are going to say the over for sure because Cam's got to have a buddy, right?
Yeah.
He's got to have someone to throw to. And, where do you think, how many yards is he going to get? If 3,500, I would say, is very attainable for Cam Newton.
Oh, absolutely.
Julian Edelman has got to get that. If Cam's success is there, Edelman and I do believe N'Keal Harry are going to benefit from that.
Yeah, look, so the whole thing is no receiver is stepped up in camp. N'Keal Harry has had mixed reviews in camp. There's nobody. There's Mohamed Sanu has gotten great reviews, but he's Mohamed Sanu. We know what he's going to be. Julian Edelman has been the star of this wide receiver room for a long time. Look, I know he's older. I know I understand all that. But yeah, he's the only guy on that offense that I'm worried about. Offensively, 900 yards. I guess I get the line because we don't really know what the Patriots are going to be this year with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I will slam the over at minus 115. I'm still fine with that. I think he's going to be very well utilized. I think 1,000 yards is very, very easily within his reach. And this is 900. 901 yards, you won this bet. So, yeah, I'm good with that. Moving on, Cam Newton again. This is all Patriots, honestly. There's no other bet in the AFC East that we like.
Because it's the odds that are out there and the just constant success that we see from the Patriots and knowing that Bill is going to, put his guys in the best situations.
Yeah, and look, this wasn't on purpose. We went through and we looked at every single other AFC East team. There wasn't really anything else that we liked from any of the other AFC East teams. We're gonna keep on the Patriots train here for a minute. Cam Newton at plus 300 comeback player of the year.
I love it.
Yeah, he is. It's Cam Newton And I mean, who else? I mean, and
Alex
Roethlisberger, maybe Alex Smith if he starts.
I think Alex Smith is going to get some brownie points for it just being a feel-good. Like even if he gets to go out there for a few games, he might take it away from someone else if they don't really, really break out.
Yeah. So Cam Newton, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's between him and 3 other guys we said. So yeah, I think that's a really good one.
Cam's in the best spot though.
Cam is in the best spot. Yeah.
And then we have Bill Belichick. Coach of the year.
Plus 1,000 for Coach of the Year. That means you bet $10, you win 100.
See, and I think he could get it just because of losing Brady, losing the GOAT. And then you get to see kind of if he is really able to do this thing, as we've always, you know, thought about the argument. Well, we get to see it first year.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's exactly what I was thinking. Look, the Coach of the Year it doesn't really go to the best coach, because if it really went to the best coach every year, it would go to Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, and that'd be it pretty much every single year, right? It goes to the team, to the coach of the team that had the most adversity that still ended up being pretty good. All right. The Patriots' adversity, losing the GOAT and Tom Brady to free agency, losing the most players to opt out.
Opt-outs.
Yeah, losing the opt-outs, not having a clear-cut starter at the offensive or at the running back position, not having a clear-cut stars at the wide receiver position, and taking a guy who's been injured the past 2 years and turning him into a star. This feels like a storybook season for Bill Belichick. If the season goes the way we think it will. And we're not even saying they need to go to the Super Bowl or anything. I'm just saying if they win their division and lose in the first round of the playoffs.
If they do what the Patriots have been able to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Constant success.
Yeah, I think Bill Belichick, the storyline makes a lot of sense to be the Coach of the Year. This is something I put $10 on to win 100. That's just an easy bet. You lose $10, you lose $10, whatever.
Can't go against Bill.
But Bill just seems like an easy bet. And then the last one, look, this happened last year. Stephon Gilmore had the most interceptions last year. He's plus 1,600 to get the most interceptions. This is a weird one, I know.
Well, it's one of the best cornerbacks in football. And you're going to say that he's not going to get interceptions. Your biggest argument against you is that statistically, after a cornerback has a really, really good year, their stats go down because guys throw the other way. Teams are developing some smarts, it would seem. And, Sherman had that same thing happen to him.
Yeah, 100% fair. I totally understand that. I look at it from just the perspective of, again, you're betting $10 to win 160. Like that's kind of where I'm coming from with this.
On a top 5 corner in the league.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll make that bet. Those kind of bets, they're roulette wheel bets. You put some money on a number, you hope it hits, right? These feel like smart bets for something that, it's totally random. We can't predict what happens at the end of the year. But definitely good stuff. Hopefully you found some good stuff there.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the AFC North, we actually do disagree in the ranking here.
Division.
Very competitive division. I could see this going a couple different ways. I think we both agree Ravens at number 1. That's a slam dunk. I have the Browns going number 2, Steelers at 3, and Bengals at 4. And I'll be honest, look, the Bengals at 4, I don't feel great about. I'm going to go 4 to 1 and just quickly go off. Bengals at 4, look, I think they're obviously the dweller of their defense or their division, but it seems like every year there's a couple bottom dwellers that jump up into that middle range of their division. I could absolutely see it with the Bengals. They have a lot of talent on that team, just pure talent. So we'll see what happens there. Steelers at 3, I was very, very conflicted about 2 and 3. I ended up going Steelers Browns above the Steelers. I'll put it that way. I ended up going Browns over Steelers just because I do really like the offense that the Browns are going to be going in. They're going to switch over to a lot more 21 personnel. They have a great offense for that, and they have a really good defense. And then Steelers, my biggest question is Ben Roethlisberger. Is he going to be healthy? We talked about some issues with his throwing motion last week on the pod, according to some notes from camp, and who knows how reliable that is, but it's definitely worth mentioning, worth thinking about. It's so close. It's razor thin. I'm going Browns over Steelers, but I have no problem if it was the other way around.
See, and I did the exact same thing, but I flipped it on that razor thin line right there. I have the Bengals at 4, the Browns at 3, the Steelers at 2, and the Ravens at 1. And listen, it hurt me to do it. It hurt me to hop off of the Cleveland Brown hype train. I'm still on it. I'm just, feet are on the ground while I'm doing it too.
You're running beside it.
Yeah, exactly. I like Baker. I like the pieces. They made every single right move you could make in the offseason.
Yeah.
It's only getting better. Myles Garrett, of course, no suspension, so he's going to be coming back. He's good to go.
Yeah.
Everything looks good for him. I am just excited about Ben Roethlisberger being back on the Steelers with Mike Tomlin. Yeah. Mike Tomlin's able to save a sinking ship with a third-string quarterback.
He has a Hall of Fame quarterback with him again.
Yeah. he's good to go. I see no problem as to why they can't get 9 wins. I could see both of them finishing at 9-7, and the Steelers having the tiebreaker.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Very, very close. Bengals are going to come in last, but I do think they're going to show some flashes.
Yeah. So let's talk about the odds according to Bovada.
Yeah.
Ravens are at -185. They're the clear cut winners.
It's hard to get some money off of the Ravens.
Yeah. And look, with season long stuff like this, no. I always say this with season long bets, stay away from the minus anything.
Yeah.
If it's a -105, -115, go for it. We've already talked about a couple bets like that. But -185, that means you're betting $185 to win 100. That's how that breaks down. So if you're betting $10, you're only getting back what? Well, it's not a lot. It's like $5, I think.
Yeah.
So however that works out in math, I'm not great at. But yeah, so I think it's
I can paint you a bad Baltimore story. I don't want to.
I can't. I can't.
Lamar having an MVP type slump just a little bit.
Even a little bit, yeah.
9-10 wins.
I guess. Like I get it.
If you're going to sit here and slam the table that they're 13 wins, and you need to put money on that. That's what that means.
No, I'm not slamming.
Lamar goes down, knock on wood. God forbid I don't want that to happen, but that's why you don't touch these minuses. If that happens where they
okay. You can always paint a picture with injuries, of course.
Yes, but Lamar's value to his team
I get
is
it.
invaluable.
Look, you're right. I could paint a picture. Teams start to figure out the offense. They don't add enough wrinkles.
If you look at the Titans' formula as to how they stopped it, I get it. Lamar breaks the mold because it's like, yeah, you got to have a man on quarterback, man on running back, man on the receiver option. Lamar takes 2. That's where the math doesn't add up there. But the Titans had a mold.
Yeah,
it was get up early quick, make Lamar throw the ball, and he's not a pocket passer.
Okay, well, we disagree with that to an extent. I think he can throw the ball. He can
throw the ball. He's not a pocket passer.
He has improved from college. He has improved every single year as a thrower. He was much improved last year than the year before. I think this year he can be much improved. Look, I do believe in Lamar as a passer. He's not a pure pocket passer.
Don't make a fish climb a tree.
He's not a pure pocket passer, but he's not a fish compared to a tree. He's not a fish compared to a monkey.
He can throw the ball, but does that make him a pocket passer? That's not his strength. That is not what got him the MVP.
I don't want to be sitting here arguing with the Ravens. I think
you said no. Listen, Lamar can throw the ball. What frees up some of the time? It's the fear of the feet.
Yeah, look. So you said the Titans were able to kind of figure it out, and they were able to. There are not a lot of teams in the NFL that have the Titans guys a defense. There just aren't. And I'll look at the Browns, Steelers,
John, I'm slacking
Bengals.
off from 13 wins to 10. I'm saying there is a small chance of probability.
I
think it's going to happen? No.
I get that.
But they're also saying that Lamar's not going to be running as much. Yeah. So it's going to be a different offense. We're going to get to see the pocket passer version.
You know what sucks? We're on the same side. I agree with you. I don't think we're that far off.
You're saying that Lamar Jackson has the exact arm talent pocket presence that a Big Ben presents.
Oh, no. I'm not. You just put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that.
You said he's a pocket passer.
I said
those are pocket passing quarterbacks.
I said he can be a pocket passer. Yes, obviously, we all know what Lamar is. He's a run-first quarterback.
Don't make a fish climb a tree.
Okay, I get it. I don't want to argue with this. I agree. I get what you're saying.
Listen, the Ravens are good. It's just hard. It's hard to put money on these minuses, and then it's a competitive division.
The Ravens are great. They have the third easiest schedule. Yeah. According to Sharp Football Analysis. Yeah, they got lucky there. It just is what it is. So it's based on the stat that we use. It's based on the Vegas odds for winning. Vegas win odds, or however they do the math there. So according to that, they have the third easiest schedule. I think they are going to be the number one. We both agree on that. Talk about the Browns over the Steelers. I think that's really where where it goes.
Well, I have the Steelers over the Browns.
Excuse me, the Steelers over the Browns. Yeah.
I mean, we've bought into the hype for the past 2 years with the Browns and always said the pieces are there, and they are. I think it might take a year just for Stefanski to get in there. And that's what sucks is because Baker really can't afford that because his payday's coming soon. And it can't be, my rookie year I was good. My second year was a bad coach. Third year was the first year's coach new thing. So now I'm on my fourth year. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going into it.
And it's very, very interesting. If you look at the Bovada odds for second and third place in this AFC North, the Browns are at plus 190 to get second place, and they're at plus 130 to get third place. The Steelers are at plus 125 to get second place.
I have the more even odds.
Yeah, you do. And then the Steelers are at plus 190 to get third place. So the Browns, and the way I have it, I have the Browns 2 and the Steelers 3. The Browns are at plus 190 to get 2, and the Steelers are at plus 190 to get 3. So that's kind of interesting there. It could go either way. It really could. Like I said, razor thin. I don't think I would bet on either of those. Those are not.
I would want to touch it just because I could see the storyline going either way with it.
Oh, absolutely.
I like Tomlin, the coach, a lot.
Yeah.
But we have seen Ben's arm and that injury and the way that his throwing mechanics kind of different a little bit.
Yeah.
Browns, you never know with the weapons.
And then Bengals are at minus 285. I'm not touching that either for the same kind of reasons. Look,
What if Burrow lights the world on fire?
Burrow could absolutely light the world on fire. Look, and that's where we're going to get to the best bets, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do the best bets for Bovada here. And the first couple of things we got to talk about are just the possibilities, right? Mm-hmm. At plus 1,600, this is not something I believe at all. It's plus 1,600 for a reason. But Bengals ending up at first place plus 1,600. I would put $5 on that just to see it. Oh, it's super bold, and I'm not saying it'll happen in a million years.
We're looking at numbers, and we're looking at where you could put money. And if it happens, you look like a genius.
There's a story I could tell. We always talk about there's a storyline that I could spin for you. Joe Burrow? Look, first of all, if you look at it, this is kind of a fantasy stat, but I think it does work into this conversation. If you look at the past 5 quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round or the first pick overall and started all 16 games, 4 of them ended up as 13th or better in fantasy, right?
Yeah.
So those are good numbers. They all have good years. Joe Burrow is probably going to have a good year. He's probably going to be better than where he's being drafted in fantasy anyway. I know that's not a whole big thing, but still. They have Joe Mixon, who they just paid, star running back. They have AJ Green back. Hopefully, if he's healthy, he plays throughout the year. That's great. They have T. Higgins, who's their the 33rd pick in the draft. So still very very highly touted wide receiver in a great wide receiver class. They have Tyler Boyd. They have a great offense in general. I would say they're getting their first round pick last year. I forget his name off the top of my head. The Alabama tackle. Thank you, Jonah Williams. They're getting him back. He's healthy this year. This will be really his first season in the NFL because he was hurt all year last year. Their defense has some pieces. It's not great, but they do have some pieces. Look, I don't think this is going to happen by any means. Getting past the Ravens, getting past the Steelers and Browns is very unlikely. Getting past the Ravens is almost impossible unless we see some injuries and see some serious regression, which I'm not projecting.
We see that the team is going in the right direction.
We do think the team's going in the right direction. I think they're so much more talented than the bottom. Like, I'll put it this way. I think they're more talented than most of the other bottom dwellers in their division.
Yeah. They're better than Jacksonville. They're better than the New York Jets. They're better than Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. They're better than all the bottom teams. So I think they're going to be a top. I think they're going to be, in the top 15, 16, 17 teams in the NFL. I think that's a fair point. That's, right in that middle range, right?
They have a top 10 pick. 8, 9, or 10.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So I think they'll be outside the top 10.
But they're gonna.
Yeah. Okay, but still, I'm just saying it's possibility of plus 1,600.
And that flows into them also being plus 850 at second place. It's just believing in the hype, believing in Burrow.
That feels very accessible. I mean, look, the Steelers and Browns, we don't know what they're going to be.
Well, it's an ugly division.
It's an ugly division. Yeah, it absolutely is. Look, there's just uncertainty with the Browns. They have a new head coach. They're really trying to go into this 21 personnel type of thing. We don't know how that's going to work. We don't know how good the defense is going to be. And then with the Steelers, we don't know what Ben Roethlisberger is going to be this year. Granted, it didn't matter last year. Ben Roethlisberger missed the season. They were still able to pull out almost going to the playoffs. So very unlikely that they're bad, or really, I don't see the Steelers or Browns really being bad. But we just don't know. I think the Bengals could surprise us and be good. I guess that's what I'm saying. But we'll move on. Browns at plus 425 for 4th place. Look,
Cleveland's gonna Cleveland.
We're gonna talk about this. The whole thing with this is, are there storylines we believe in, and is it worth the odds that we're seeing to maybe make that bet? At plus 425. You're betting $10 to win 40. Excuse me. Not the greatest, but if you think the Browns are going to absolutely suck, if you think Bengals are going to be better than we think, look, could they? Is it going to surprise anybody if the Browns suck this year? No, I don't think so.
6 wins and the Bengals have some good ones. I mean,
that could absolutely happen.
Be at the bottom.
6 wins could absolutely be the bottom of this division.
Yeah,
that's the best way to put it. I think that's a really good point. And then the last one, again, this is the last thing I think I expect, but I had to put it on here. I think it's the best odds we've seen.
It's the best odds. I'm not going to touch it.
No. Yeah. But plus 1,800 for 4th place for the Ravens. If shit just absolutely fell apart. Again, that's one where it's
hell freezes over.
Yeah, hell freezes over. If you're just a Ravens hater and you wanna bet on them sucking and maybe win some money along the way, do you? I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of these prop bets that I really like from Bovada. All right, so Lamar Jackson over under 919.5 rushing yards. So are they going to get over?
Yeah, it's going to be under. It's going to be under just because him and the coach have come out and said that he's going to have more of a passing role, not as many scripted runs. Still going to run.
Look, he's how many rushing yards did he get last year? Over 1,000?
Oh, I think it was 1,100.
Yeah, 1,100.
Yeah.
65% of his rushing yards came on designed runs from Lamar Jackson.
Take that away. I mean,
it's going to go down. They're not going to have the amount of design runs that they have this year is going to go down. Lamar has said it. Harbaugh has said it. It's going to happen. They know that Lamar Jackson cannot survive in this league for the 10, 15 years that they want their quarterback to survive in this league if he's running the ball that much, that consistency. It just can't happen. Obviously, they're not going to completely, take away his best asset, which is his legs. But I do think it's going to go down. I don't think he's getting 900 rushing yards this year. I don't. I just do not.
And you're not knocking Lamar for that. They have come out and said that their whole system is going to modify just a little bit, and it's honestly smarter.
Yeah.
You don't want to do the Cam Newton route and get 5 to 8 great years of him.
Yeah, and
because
then
now
just
look at where he's at. Yeah, you have a franchise guy build up around him and keep this intact for years. Yeah.
And they have
over a decade.
They have a complete system around him. They can put him in the pocket and get the ball out quickly to your running backs, to your tight ends, and to your quick receivers, and in the flats. Those things feel like something that I would be excited about.
Last year was an anomaly. How many times he ran the ball?
Of course, it's not going to happen that much this year. And also, 920 yards on the ground is a lot for a running back. I mean, it's not insane. Obviously, we see it all the time, but it's a lot for a running back. It's insane for a quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah. So at 920, that just makes too much sense. Take the under there, or excuse me, take the under. It's at minus 130, so not great odds, but I do think that's kind of a slam dunk thing.
Confident in it, though.
I'm very confident. Absolutely.
AJ Green over under 7.5 touchdown catches.
Yeah.
So we feel a little different. We feel a little different on it. I wouldn't be willing to bet on the over, but I do see those storylines as to where he gets the over, and it's if he's healthy. If he's healthy, he will do this. I do think that. I think that highly of AJ Green and his ability.
So this is my argument for the under here, right? And the under is at minus 120. The over is at minus 110. So the under is actually the better value bet. I would take the under for a couple of reasons. One, according to Sports Injury Predictor, he has a 93% chance of having an injury that causes him to miss at least 2 quarters. That's not a lot. I understand that. He's projected to miss 4.9 games in 2020, right? This is according to Sports Injury Predictor. I don't know how they get that math, but that's what it says there. They're a very valuable asset when it comes to guys that are injured. If you look it up online and you see like all of his injuries, he's just every single part of his body has been injured at some point in the NFL. It's just absolutely ridiculous where he's just racked up so many injuries. So that is a big part of this. He's going to start week 1. He's gonna be there on the team. But if he finishes the season, nobody's going to be shocked if he doesn't, right? And then the other part of this is 8 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns for a wide receiver, right? And AJ Green, no, it's not a lot of touchdowns for AJ Green, but he hasn't really been on the field and healthy in 2 years, so we don't know what we're getting from AJ Green. There's a lot of question marks with AJ Green. At 7.5 touchdowns, at that over-under, I will take the under, and I will feel pretty confident about it. I really will.
Well, because you have those outs. You have the most common thing being the injuries that have been something that has kept him sidelined and something that's probably going to happen. And if he does miss 3 games, I think the numbers, it can't happen. I mean, that means that he is balling out up until that point. I mean, Julio stays healthy all year and has a problem getting touchdowns. Yeah,
and I did misspeak. I said it's better value to bet the over minus 110 than 120, but still very close. Doesn't really matter. I think the
safe move is the under just because of but it would not surprise me. I'm not going to bet against a healthy AJ Green.
All right, and we're going to go through this with Nick Chubb here, and I've been saying this all year. I've been saying this all offseason. I've been slamming the table for this, and I could be wrong, but this is a bet I will be making. This is over under 1,275 rushing yards, according to Bovada. It's minus 115 on both sides. I am slamming the under here. I would be shocked if he gets this much in a split backfield, which I believe it is. And that's the biggest conversation.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb had, 1,400 rushing yards last year?
A lot.
And honestly, they're probably going to be more of a run-first team this year than they were last year. So if Nick Chubb is the clear-cut starting running back from day one and has 65 to 70% of the touches, he's probably going to beat 1,275. So if you believe that's going to happen, don't make this bet. I do not believe that's going to happen. I think at best it's going to be a 60-40 split between him and Kareem Hunt on as far as rushing attempts. And then I think Kareem Hunt's probably going to get on the field just as much as Nick Chubb because he's going to be more accessible in the passing game than Nick Chubb is. Where are you at on this?
I mean, like you said with the split thing, I would take the over, though. I think Nick Chubb is an elite running back.
Really?
I think the yards are going to be there. I think it would be a 65-35. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be out on the field.
Yeah.
He's good, but they have Chubb. Run it.
Look, this is something I actually am betting on. And like I said, this is a mindset thing. If you think it's going to be 65-35, I absolutely agree, bet the over or don't touch it at all because he's going to get close to that, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be 65-30. I think 60-40 is the minimum.
I wouldn't touch these odds based off of that just because I see more ways that Nick Chubb doesn't hit that because there's guys who even if he gets the amount of touches, there's times that it just doesn't add up like that. What if they use him more in the passing game? What if they're winning, they're losing a lot of games.
A lot of things could
rushing
go.
yards go around. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so that's it for prop bets. This is we're going to go back to the roulette wheel and just talk about a couple of things I saw. There's a lot of stuff in this division that is enticing. Look, defensive rookie of the year. We both know who it's probably going to be. It's probably going to be Chase Young, right? Mm-hmm. Last year, I think I put $10-15 on it being the linebacker for the Steelers, right?
Devin Bush. Yeah.
Devin Bush, thank you. Who had an awesome preseason and looked really good. He actually was really good last year in general. I love first of all, I like betting on linebackers for defensive rookie of the year because they just rack up tackles and they rack up sacks and stuff like that. Interceptions is a possibility too. Patrick Queen for the Ravens feels like a really good defensive rookie of the year. He was my favorite linebacker outside of Isaiah Simmons. I guess he was my number 2 linebacker coming into the class. I loved Patrick Queen. I thought he should have been a top 20 pick. Falls all the way to 28 for the Ravens at plus 90. No, excuse me, at plus 900. You can bet $10 to win what 90. That's a damn good deal. I will take that all day. I understand
best defensive rookie odds out of the whole division. That's why he's up there.
Absolutely, and I understand. Look, this is a coin. This is like I said, a roulette wheel spin. It's probably not going to happen, but I will put a couple bucks on it just to see if I can get hit big. That I love doing that. I think it's fun, and you get to root for players. That's always fun too, right?
Yeah. We'll do 2 comeback player of the year options. One is being Big Ben. That is at plus 300. And I could easily see the storyline there with a good team around him, a good infrastructure. Yeah. He has no problem getting this team to the playoffs. If they do that, he's automatically there. And the other one is the harder odds. It's the health issue. It is plus 1,000 for A.J. Green getting comeback player of the year.
We had to put that on there, though, right?
Well, I still believe that if he stays healthy, there's mad talent there.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
I feel like I'm such a minority though because people just don't know what AJ Green could do.
People get scared of the injuries, and I'm
one of them.
They rightfully
should be. If I'm on a fantasy team where I'm putting money, I'm not doing that. But when I'm looking at it on paper at AJ Green and what he could go back to, gosh, that could help out.
The thing is, if we make a list of our top 10 wide receivers in the NFL right now, and we take injuries off the list, right? We just say talent on the field when he's healthy. AJ Green is in that list. He's probably in the top 5.
He's good.
If we're just taking injuries away and you rank the talent on the field, he is an absolute baller. He could absolutely be comeback player of the year. Doesn't happen too often for wide receivers. Almost unanimously, it's just quarterbacks for comeback player of the year. So it's very unlikely odds. But again, you believe in the dude, you love the dude, you're rooting for him. Why not put $10 on it and see what you can do? Myles Garrett at plus 1,200 for defensive player of the year. This is ridiculous to me. This is a slam dunk. I'm probably going to put $20 on this.
Odds, yeah.
At 1,200 for Myles Garrett, the star defense. Look, I understand he got suspended for the rest of last season.
Line product.
He is a top 5 defensive line player in the NFL right now. He's a superstar. He's a superstar. You're telling me he can't win defensive player of the year? And by the way, it almost always goes to the defensive line. I mean, it didn't last year with Stephon Gilmore winning it.
Aaron Donald got
Nick 2 years
Bosa
in a row.
Would be up there. I mean, I'm trying to think, but Myles Garrett falls right in line with
that
all
conversation.
Of those defensive linemen.
And the other guys you mentioned are in the 500, 600 range.
Yeah.
And Myles Garrett's in the 1,200 range. Yeah, that's one I'm very excited about. Yeah, I'm putting money on that one. Offensive Rookie of the Year, we have to put this easy. This is going to happen. Joe Burrow is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, right? We're going to talk about other guys that we think could do it, throughout the series.
Yeah.
But Joe Burrow's the name. And
based off this division, the only other guy that kind of pops is J.K. Dobbins. But and the odds for Dobbins is at 2,200. I mean, that's incredible value.
Yeah.
But Burrow's got it
at 275 according to Bovada Sportsbook. I feel pretty confident, put $20-30 on Joe Burrow. You're probably going to win, 90 back. You're probably going to take some money back. Last one. This is a fun one. This is an interesting one. This is one that hurts me a little bit. Yeah. Minkah Fitzpatrick plus 2,000 most interceptions. You could put some money on Minkah Fitzpatrick getting the most interceptions. He was a ball hawk. He was a ball hawk last year. Oh, and by the way, I looked this up. Who was the last safety to win Defensive Rookie of the Year? Or, excuse me, Defensive Player of the Year?
The last safety to win. Troy Polamalu.
Exactly right. Troy Polamalu for this exact same Steelers. He's going to play that role. Minkah Fitzpatrick is an absolute baller. I am so disappointed that we traded him for a first round pick that ended up being the 17th, 18th pick in the draft. Yeah. Very disappointing. Is what it is. That's just me as a Dolphins fan that misses Minkah Fitzpatrick very much. But he was all around the ball last year. He had multiple fumble recoveries. He had multiple interceptions. He would not surprise me a bit if he had the most interceptions in the NFL next year.
Plus 2,000.
Plus 2,000. Yeah, again, these are just, you're rolling the roulette wheel. You're hoping to hit something. That's another one that we're definitely looking at.
Yeah.
But moving on, AFC South. We disagree a good bit on this one. This is the
There's
one.
There's going to be some talks on this.
Yeah, we're going to have some conversation. I'm going to let you go first. I went first last time.
Oh, so you want to have the last presenting?
Yeah,
that's fine. I have the Jags at 4th. That's a pretty common thing. We're going to see that a lot.
We agree on that one.
I have the Texans at 3rd, the Colts at 2nd, and the Titans in 1st.
Yeah.
And I would say that I'm the bold one out of this in saying that the Texans come at. I don't feel like I am, but according to Bovada, I am, with the Titans being plus 175 in 1st, Colts 175 in 2nd, and the Texans 155 in 3rd. Texans kind of fit in that 3rd spot. The 1 and 2 get interchanged. Yeah. I think the Titans are going to be rolling with it, man.
Yeah, I actually, based on those odds, I think Bovada agrees with you.
Yeah,
because those are all kind of small odds.
The Colts are the favorite, though.
Yeah, the Colts are the favorite. I have the Colts at number 1 at plus 120, so they are the clear-cut favorites in this division. And look, I have been on a roller coaster this year with the Colts, all right? And we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to get through this real quick. Texans at plus 210 and Titans at plus 275.
Titans at 3rd place.
I hate having the Titans at 3rd place. Look, this could go any order. Any order of Colts, Texans, Titans, 1, 2, and 3, I'm fine with. We put the odds there for according to Bovada. I would not bet on any of these. The only one I would even consider betting is the Jags, but at minus 325, I'm not even doing that because I don't touch those kind of odds.
Yeah.
I'm very. I don't know what's going to happen here. Well, I talked about it last year or last week, I think, where I talked about how this is maybe the hardest division to figure out because I mean there's no consensus. Look, so let's go through it. All right. You have the Titans at number 1.
Yeah.
Give me your spiel on why you think they beat out the Colts and Texans.
Tannehill was PFF's number 1 rated quarterback whenever it came to efficiency on the field.
Yeah.
Quarterback rating was through the roof. Derrick Henry is a dog. I think Darrington Evans is going to be a good spell to him. I think the offense is good. The defense is greater. Jeffrey Simmons is looking to step up.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm not 100% convinced that Derrick Henry isn't actually like a gorilla and they just shaved him and they put him in a football uniform and said, go forward. Dude's an absolute baller. I mean, he's another human. It's crazy. So I absolutely agree with all that. I love the Titans this year, man. That's the sad part. I have them at 3. And I don't want to. And this was my argument against putting the Titans here. And this, I guess, is a bad argument. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Last time I saw a run-first football team with a quarterback that people have questions about, with a really good defense, go to the AFC Championship and lose, they didn't do well the next year. And it was the Jacksonville Jaguars in the same division. Listen, Ryan Tannehill is so much better than the Blake Bortles. But by the same token, that Jaguars defense is a lot better than this Titans defense now, right? I mean, we talk about it a lot on this pod about the amount of pieces that the Jags have lost over the past couple of years. And I would argue that Derrick Henry is probably better than Leonard Fournette. I'm very clearly better than Leonard Fournette, I would say. But at the end of the day, the run-first football team that kind of plays it safe in the passing game, I don't feel like they perform year over year like the high flying passing offenses in the NFL. And granted, my number 1 is probably a run first offense too. I don't know. I'm just nervous about the Titans. I just have there's something in me that's saying I have some trepidation.
The Colts doesn't bother me. That's fine because I'm also big on the Colts. They have a great defense, built up offensive line. Phillip Rivers is an upgraded quarterback, wide receiver.
There's a lot of arguments to say they should be there.
Why are the Texans above the Titans?
The fighting Deshaun Watsons. That's why.
I like Deshaun.
I think Deshaun Watson is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. I do believe that. I think if I made a top 3 list, he'd probably be in that top 3 list. I think that the Texans suck this year. I hate their defense. I don't really love their offensive line, and I don't like the receiver. I know, but I think Deshaun Watson is the it factor that is going to make them win 9 games, and I think the Titans are probably going to win 9 games too. And I'm just saying that the Texans probably have I'm giving the Texans the tiebreaker. I really
That's
do.
fair. I just
I think it's a coin flip, and I took
when
the
you
Texans.
check boxes, though, the Titans win.
Of course.
And the Titans of this division is always at a problem. The Titans always lose to Jacksonville at least once. Sadly, it's on the road. So if the Titans can right those wrongs, I mean, last year Texans won the division, but they lost a lot of talent.
Man, look,
it's going to be hard for Deshaun.
This might be crazy. I would say if you take the quarterback out of the conversation, they might be the worst roster in this division. Yeah. That's saying something because the Jags are in this roster, but the Jags have an all right offensive line.
I think they have a true lack of star power because they got rid of DeAndre.
They got rid of their star, They have nobody on defense, neither the Jags. I think that evens out for
Texans
the most part.
JJ.
They have JJ. You're right. So, look, the Texans are probably a little bit better than Jags' roster, even if you take out the quarterback. But I do think it's close. I think it's a conversation because Jags, I think, have the better wide receiver, and DJ Shark's a baller. I can't really go past that, to be honest. But, let's just be honest. I don't love the Texans team as in general, and I think you're totally right.
The Titans more.
I think that Deshaun Watson is the equalizer. I'll put it that way. And look, the Texans have been atop of this division for a while. This is one of the. I feel like this doesn't happen that often. That the team that has been at the top of the division for years isn't projected to be the number one team in their division anymore. And granted, they made a lot of poor decisions with their roster and with their personnel. But at the end of the day, I still think the Texans, they're going to have some offensive firepower. They're going to win games. They're going to go down the wire probably in every single game, I would say. I think it's going to be one of those type of teams because I don't think their defense is going to be able to stop many people. It's just going to be interesting. I don't know.
While we're on the Texans hype train, I guess we'll go into the Bovada odds for them to come in first place in the division.
Yeah.
It's at plus 325. And I mean, we've said it. It's the storyline thing. Yeah, Deshaun Watson is polarizing. He's going to be able to keep this team in a lot of games that they probably shouldn't be in. Yeah. He's going to have to play some Russell Wilson type hero ball.
Yeah.
I think he's capable of doing that, though. And also, this division cannibalizes itself. We have seen, I think it's 3 out of the past 4 years, the winner of this division is a 10-6 record.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. 11-5. I mean, I don't see any other getting above that.
Yeah,
it's going to be really close.
And the thing is, I wouldn't hesitate. I mean, I would hesitate, but I wouldn't be scared to make that bet because, to be honest, it could go any fucking way.
It can.
It could. The Titans can be third in this division. No one's going to be absolutely shocked.
A lot of times, these teams go 1-1, 1-1 against each other.
Exactly. The odds are plus 275 for the Titans to go third. The Colts are at plus 120. I probably wouldn't bet on that, but to go third place, going back to our Bovada best bets. The Colts are at plus 325 to get third place.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just one of those weird, crazy things that I don't know. It could go any different way, and I just don't know what's going to happen.
Colts, out of all of those, I think the Colts in third is the worst for me because that's the one I think the Colts got to be first or second. They just they have so much talent.
I do agree, but it could happen. The Texans could do what the Texans do.
DeForest Buckner with Darius Leonard, Malik Hooker, they have all that level stuff that I like on defense. Their offense is only better.
Their defense is great. Their offense is going to be awesome. Phillip Rivers, look, I've gone, like I said, the roller coaster. I didn't love Phillip Rivers signing at first, and the more I looked at it, the more I realized, look, a lot of Phillip Rivers interceptions last year were late in the game when they were just trying to push the ball down the field and they were trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
He threw interceptions. It is what it is. He lost the team some games. I don't think he's going to be in that situation this year. I think they have the best offensive line in the NFL, so the one thing that Phillip Rivers needs above all else is protection. He has that now. He can get the ball to his receivers. He still has a good arm. That's not the question. It's just his ability to get out of the way. And he's been in the way a lot. So, I mean, he's been under pressure a lot. So, especially for the Chargers. Now he goes to the Colts. He's got 1 year. He's got a great running team. Look, we debate who's going to be the guy in fantasy for that running game. Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. Who cares? As a team, they're going to be a great running football team.
Yeah, exactly. They got it.
Yeah, so we're excited about it from that. I do agree. I don't see how they go third. Well, I do. The Titans and Texans could surprise us, I guess, is what I'm saying.
That's what it would take, not the Colts being bad, because I just don't see a way that you could spin that to me. It would take the other teams really hitting.
All three of these teams could go 9-7.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you're at tiebreakers.
Yeah, and that's just tiebreakers.
Which it comes down to every single year, the Titans. I've always said, I mean, look at last year. The Titans were technically out of the playoffs, and they had to go on this miracle run.
Yeah.
They were able to make it. But that's how it goes.
So you have the Texans at 3. Do you think that because we're really not going to touch the wild card that much in this episode, but I do want to bring it up here.
All three could make it.
I was going to say with the extra wild card spot, do you think all three make this?
Yeah, I value the Texans, especially at the 3 spot. That would be like the Raiders in the AFC West.
They're fighting off the Raiders,
like the Browns. There's I think the Texans have that capability.
Yeah, no, I do. And then the Texans would probably be going up against either the Ravens or the Chiefs and just get destroyed.
Most likely.
Be a fun game, though.
Yeah.
Be an offensive firepower.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through a couple of these prop bets. Deshaun Watson, over under 27.5 passing touchdowns, right?
It's under.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Look, he's never gotten more than 26 touchdowns in the season, and he's going into this first season without D-Hops.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
How can you expect more production from a thing? And he does use his legs a lot in the red zone too.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
5 or 6 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, if this was touchdowns altogether, I wouldn't touch this bet.
Yeah,
but at 20, you have to score 28 passing touchdowns to hit the over. I don't know if he does that. Look, they're probably going to be behind a lot. They're probably going to have to throw it all over the field. So from that sense, yes, he could absolutely crush the over. He really could. He could throw 35 touchdowns very easily. But for a guy who's really never done that, he's never scored more than 20. He's gotten 26 touchdowns in each of the past 2 seasons, playing 16 games both years. So yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that that Deshaun Watson's going to get more than that, 2 more than that. To be exact, with them losing their biggest weapon in the offense.
That's hard to do. We'll stick with quarterback play in the South, and we will go to Gardner Minshew over under 3,499.5 passing yards. So does he hit 3,500?
Yeah, I do. I do think he does. And look, the over is actually a value bet. It's at plus 110, which is good. The under is at minus 145. And I think it is going to be plus 110. I think it is going to be the over. Look, he put up 3,200 yards in 14 games, coming off the bench, not practicing with the first team at all. This is one of the reasons I love DJ Shark this year, because he was great with DJ Shark last year without having any practice time. The first time he threw to DJ Shark was in a real game, right? So this time it might not be true, but it's pretty much true. So yeah, I think combine that with the fact that the Jaguars are going to be down a lot this year. The Jaguars are not going to be a good football team by any stretch of the imagination. I can't imagine that Gardner Minshew isn't throwing it all over the yard. Gardner, like I said earlier in this pod, he has nothing to lose. He is going to do everything he can to get the ball down the field. Oh yeah, and they just cut their best offensive or their best running back on their roster, so might not be running the ball as much as we thought they would be. Yeah, I think 3,500 yards is very, very accessible for Gardner Minshew, and this is another one I am betting on.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You can throw the ball like crazy and still be a bad team.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston last year. Yeah. I'm sorry to say it.
5,000 passing yards.
And Gardner Minshew has that capability with the arm talent. At Wazoo, Washington State, him and Mike Leach, he threw for 5,000 in 12 college games.
Yeah, he just
garbage time wins games. Blake Bortles was able to do that the duo 1,500-yard years with Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson.
They were a terrible team, but
Minshew is a better quarterback than that.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think it's going to get hit.
Yeah, and the last one, we go back to the roulette wheel with Jonathan Taylor at plus 800 for Rookie of the Year. Look, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is not something I would be betting on, but I thought it was worth mentioning. He's one of the top running backs in the class. And, yeah, he definitely has the possibility of doing something like that.
I think about it. I mean, I know he has the talent to do it.
Absolutely has the talent.
Yeah, it is a situational workload thing. I think next year going into it, I know he couldn't get rookie, of course, his second year, but next year's the year to have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I do agree with that. All right, let's get to the last division we have to talk about when we'll get out of here. AFC West. We disagree a little bit. Obviously, we don't disagree.
Another division though where you could shake it 2 through 3. You could shake it up for me.
There's 3 guys that you could put it wherever you want. Chiefs are going number 1. They're minus 350 according to Bovada, and we feel pretty damn good about that. At number 2, I have the Broncos.
I have the Broncos as well.
Yeah, sorry. So we're both good on the Broncos.
We need someone else who's not on because both of us are on the Broncos nuts.
We agree on a couple things. And look, I actually like that. I like having pillars of the podcast that we can go in and be like, man, the Broncos were right. Because then at the end of the year, we'd be like, we told you should have been listening to us. We knew it. People that are listening to us now, they're ready to go. They know we're a step ahead of all this shit.
Broncos are getting 8-9 wins this year.
I 100% believe that. I am so excited for Drew Lock this year. I've said it. How many times have I said on this pod? You can't count how many times I've said on this pod. Drew Lock is going to be good. He was my number 2 quarterback coming into that draft class. I think he's in a great situation. They put talent all around him. They have a great defense. I mean, they're ready to roll, and I think they are going to be a very, very good football team this year. Let's go to number 3 because this is where we disagree a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, look, I'm not gonna die on the hill that the Chargers at 3
That's what I was about to say.
Raiders
I'm not gonna fight over the Raiders being at 3 versus the Chargers at 4.
Yeah. So I have the Chargers at 3 and the Raiders at 4, both at plus 175 odds, and then you have the Raiders at 3 and the Chargers at 4.
Yeah.
Raiders at plus 200 odds to get the third spot in the division.
Why are the Chargers better than the Raiders?
So I do think they're better. I think they have more talent on both sides of the field. I'll put it that way. Maybe not more talent. They have more proven commodities. I'll put it that way.
You can say talent.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel pretty confident with that.
Joey Bosa. I mean, they lost Derwin, yes, but they
still have a good secondary.
They're good.
They I was just about to say they draft Kenneth Murray to be that kind of middle of the field guy. Maybe he can. I mean, he could play safety if he needed to.
Casey Hayward and Chris Harris too. Lock down the secondary.
They have some good pieces on the defense. They have 3 running backs that I like. Austin Eckler is going to be a great pass catching back. Obviously. They have the Joshua Kelly, who I wasn't super high on, but I think he's going to fit the offense and what they want to do, and he'll be fine. And then I actually really like Justin Jackson. Still, he hasn't popped off the way I probably expected him to last year, but I still think he's going to be. I still think he's a good rotational guy that's going to be able to produce a little bit for him. And the other part of it is, I like their receiving core for the most part. I mean, for the Chargers, it's not as good as the Raiders, I will say, but Keenan Allen's still going to be good. And the real question is quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. I do think Tyrod Taylor is a borderline starter in this league, and Tyrod Taylor has proven that on a good football team, he can produce. He can have good numbers. I don't think he's going to lose the Chargers a lot of games. That's my big thing, and I do think the Chargers are talented. The Raiders, on the other hand, look, I can paint a very similar picture.
I think we're talking 4 to 7 wins is where this difference goes in.
Yeah.
5 to 7 for me of the Chargers and Raiders, because the Chargers are very talented. For me, the Raiders, though, John Gruden is a good coach. I like what they're doing. They kind of have a really good budget defense that's going on, a good defensive line.
They're a defense on a budget.
They are. I mean, they
have talent. They have talent all over the field. They don't have as many
Pro Bowlers as the Chargers have on defense, but they still got a solid defense.
Yeah,
offense,
Max Crosby is awesome.
It's going to be young receiver. It's going to be weird to see because Tyrell Williams is officially on the IR. He's done for the year, most likely. Yeah. So you got to have Lynn Bowden, Henry Ruggs, and Brian Edwards.
Look, Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs, I think are going to be the stars of this offense. I'm not worried. I think their receiving core is actually going to be really good.
Yeah, Darren Waller.
The question for me is what Derek Carr can do with it. I think Derek Carr is my biggest issues with him is he just won't sling it. He seems very conservative and Alex Smith type of guy. I think that's kind of what his career is going to end up being. He's always going to be a starter in the league for a long time because he doesn't really fuck up that much, but he just doesn't let it loose. And I think this year could be that change that he needs. If he's given the leash and he says, "Hey, fucking let it loose," you got Henry Ruggs streaking down the sidelines, 20 times a game, let it fly. The Raiders could be too. The Raiders could. You could tell me the Raiders end up second in the division. I won't be shocked with
that. Yeah, they're going to be a run heavy team when they pass when they have to, and if Derek Carr can get the ball to the weapons, Henry Ruggs is good. Brian Edwards is getting rave reviews at camp. Darren Waller is technically the best receiver on the team right now. So there's a way.
Man, yeah, and it's crazy because look, we can talk up every single one of these teams, and any one of them, like you said,
there's
any
always
one of the bottom
side,
3.
There's always a bad side.
Any one of the bottom 3 could end up being 2. Any one of the bottom 3 could end up being 4.
Yeah,
and it just wouldn't shock me. So let's talk about that according to our best bets, and we're going to talk about some of the
Bovada agrees with us.
Yeah. So the Chargers in second place is plus 210. The Raiders in second place is plus 255, and the Broncos in second place is plus 215. Very close. Whoever you believe in, bet on. I'm not touching this division as far as betting on the position. I'm just not. There's a couple bets that I am very excited about. This is not one where I'm going to touch positional rankings outside of the Chiefs, but at minus 350, I'm not touching that either.
Yeah, it just shows how close that from 2 to 4. Yeah. If you have these odds within 40 points on all of them, it's going to be a shakeup.
Feel good without that, yeah. All right, so let's go about these are probably there's 3 bets here I really like. I'll put it that way. Drew Lock over under 22.5 passing touchdowns.
I think I know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
I'm about to say I know what you're.
Let's say what I'm doing. I'll let you think about it. Over.
Go ahead.
This is over. He had 7 touchdowns last year in 5 games, coming off the bench and not practicing a whole lot with the starters, right? And also not having a receiver that had more than 300 yards last year after they traded away what's his name to the 49ers.
Emmanuel
Sanders. Thank you. So no receiver weapons outside of Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant, but Noah Fant wasn't a huge impact really. Now they have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, a KJ Hamler to be a deep threat. They have a Noah Fant. They added a running back in there to help them out in Melvin Gordon, who's going to be a pass catching weapon, just like Philip Lindsay will be. I think 23 passing touchdowns is the floor for Drew Lock. And look, I might be bold in saying that. He could absolutely go under, and I guess I wouldn't be absolutely astonished.
Yeah, but if he goes under, though, it's a bad year. That means we know what Drew Lock...
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I believe in the talent of Drew Lock, first of all, and I think they put enough weapons around him for me to feel very, very confident that 25 to 26 touchdowns is where he's going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, it's minus 115, minus 115 on the over and under. So if I had to pick, I would go over.
Yeah.
Just too many weapons.
Yeah.
I believe in Drew Lock. I mean, I think it's going to happen.
Would you bet that or no?
I wouldn't touch it.
You wouldn't touch it?
No, I mean, I would. Yeah, 22.5 is very attainable.
Yeah.
For a team. I mean, you're asking little less than you got to get 2 touchdowns a game every other game.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Derek Carr's, on the other hand, over under 19.5.
It's ridiculous. That's stupid. Yeah, this is.
It's got to be over.
I would bet $50 on this, and that's a lot for me, guys.
they got to do it because of Mariota, right? I mean, is that the underlying issue here?
Are we worried about? I'm not. Look,
I'm not.
You've mentioned it. Maybe you might be worried that. I think Derek Carr is more talented than Marcus Mariota at this point in his career. I am not worried about Marcus Mariota coming in for Derek Carr. Unless there's an injury, right? And obviously, look, you betted the over. You're obviously betting against an injury.
Nod. I can see it.
But at 20 passing touchdowns to get the over, you just added a...
I mean, just let him play 16 games and he's got it.
You just added a Henry Ruggs. You can give Henry Ruggs a slant 5 times a game. He's going to take one of them to the house. That's how good he is. I mean, that's how fast and quick he is. That's what Alabama did all year.
He's a weapon, yeah.
He's an absolute weapon. Look, I get it. They're probably a run first team with Josh Jacobs there. They're probably, I don't think going to be an offensive powerhouse by any stretch of the imagination. But at 20 passing touchdowns, I'm betting on that. I'm taking the over.
If both of us are the over on that,
I will say, I think just one more thing to mention. It's minus 160 is the over. So you are taking a huge disadvantage betting the over. Yeah. The under is 120. So it's just a weird line altogether. I don't really get that.
If you don't believe in Derek Carr and you think Mariota's coming in there, then bet the under because the opportunity's not there.
Even if you don't believe in Derek Carr, don't touch this bet. Like if you absolutely don't think Derek Carr's going to be the guy, he could not be the guy and get 20 touchdowns. I mean, let's be honest. He's a quarterback in the NFL.
Numbers are going to be there.
Yeah.
What about Henry Ruggs?
This is the best one.
Henry Ruggs over under 4.5 touchdowns.
He's too explosive to score less than 5 touchdowns. I believe that. And the over is at minus 105 and the under is at minus 125. So the value is to bet the over. That's shocking to me. Like I said, they're going to throw Henry Ruggs open. They're going to have every single route.
They have said that they're putting with Antonio Brown.
Exactly. Yeah. They're giving him the Antonio Brown treatment. He is so explosive. He is so fast. And look, he gets billed as a speedster, and he absolutely is. He's a little bit of a route runner. I'm not too worried about him as a true route runner in the NFL. I think he's not the best coming out of college by any means, but he wasn't the worst either. And I do believe at 5 touchdowns, that's a slam dunk. I'm going for it. I will absolutely bet that on all day. At minus 105, that's almost even odds. I'll take
same.
That.
Ruggs is too talented in the role that he's going to get put in.
Yep.
He's just guaranteed it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Let's finish it out here with a couple. Like I said, you're rolling on the roulette wheel. Bradley Chubb at plus 4,000 to get Defensive Player of the Year. This is another name. Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
I love that. Bradley Chubb is a stud, and he's also up there for Comeback Player of the Year too. I mean, you could get the package duo. He is solid. He's really.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, he could absolutely
plus 4,000.
Plus 4,000. You're betting. If you bet $10, you're going to win 400. Come on, guys. That's. Yeah, I'll take that bet.
I'll let you do the last one because I know how much you love him.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Offensive Rookie of the Year, plus 300. Look, it's probably not going to happen because it's going to be Joe Burrow. I'm not slamming the table for this one just because the odds aren't there. Like at plus 300 for an Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm not for Offensive Rookie of the Year because it usually goes to a quarterback. It'll probably be Joe Burrow. If I'm going to bet on the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to bet on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I actually am going to put money on this because I believe in him that much.
Yeah.
But just in general, I'm not going to slam the table for it because he's a running back and there's quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round. So to me, he has to outperform Joe Burrow so significantly that it's just he's the clear cut. I think he can do that. I absolutely do. But you need more from him than you need from a Joe Burrow, and the odds difference isn't that much.
You have to take a hit like a Saquon to Baker Mayfield type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And what Saquon did was borderline legendary his rookie year. So I mean, Clyde Edwards is going to have that opportunity, but there's so much going on in Kansas City with Pat Mahomes leading the show.
Yeah,
he's your best bet for running back just because of situation.
I think so too. But at plus 300, I think I would rather take. I'd rather take a chance on it like a J.K. Dobbins because J.K. Dobbins is plus 2,200.
Exactly.
And I like J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins was my number one. So I liked him more than Clyde Edwards coming out. And I liked them both a lot. But I don't know. It's a good bet. I will bet on it because I've been so high on it. I feel like I have to put like $5 on it, but I'm not going to put a lot on it just because I don't know. It's just not great enough odds for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's it.
That was a good one.
We're going to go play some basketball, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, and comment to win the T.Y. Hilton jersey. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give a 5-star rating, comment to win the T.Y. Hilton jersey. Please help us grow, share us, get us out there. Football season is going. We are going to be here for all your news, all your injury updates, all your fantasy football advice, all your gambling advice. We are going to be here for all of it all season. We are ready to go. We are so excited for football season. Whatever it's going to look like, we are here. Guys, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, bring it on. Between the Pylons.
Peace out.